Plat Chat episode 179. I'm here with Custa. I guess you look like your eyeballs just popped out. Jaws.
Well, yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy that this guy is still alive. You know, we got to lead into this early, right before. First of all, we're at 2 weddings coming up on this podcast. We got 2 different weddings, and Johnny, right before his, said he went out to dinner with Dante and Jake, and then immediately dislocated his fucking big bird ass knee.
Stupid.
And I still don't know how you did it. How did you dislocate your knee?
Oh, no, we gotta start with this. It's just stupid. Yeah. It's not even like a real story. It's a great
story. I was there.
It actually, the value of the story decreases if I share like what actually happened. But so we went to Din Tai Fung. I'll just tell it quickly because it's shit. There's no big thing or anything. We went to Din Tai Fung. Where I went to the restroom. I come back from the restroom and I'm gonna sit down on this like banquette. So like I don't know if you guys know this. Banquette is like the couch up against the wall, right? And so you have to like scoot in to sit on the couch. You can't like pull out the chair. And so I had to get by Dante to get to like inside the table or whatever. So Dante gives me a little bit of room. He doesn't give me a lot of room. He gives me a little bit of room, and I'm a big person. So I have to squeeze my legs between the table and Dante's knees sideways. And so I put pressure on my leg sideways and my knee popped out. And then it popped back in, and Custa just looked at me like my fucking eyes went into the back of my skull.
Well, they did. Yeah, I watched Johnny. Like, you know when people like bang their knees on something, they're like, oh. When this happened, Johnny went into shock, like instantly. His eyes just were like, and I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, and he started like going like falling over. I was like, oh shit, this is way worse than just like banging your knees. It wasn't great.
Oh, that is funny.
I shouldn't be laughing this much, but
it was kind of funny because as well as like Dante like hasn't seen Johnny I think in like a while, and it's like the first thing Johnny does is like dislocate his knee and like unable to like communicate. It's also great, like Din Tai Fung like were the goats. They like gave him a nice big ice pack, and then we continued to eat the entire time, because if you're at Din Tai, if you manage to get a table for Din Tai Fung, we're not gonna leave because Johnny dislocates his knee.
Was this the one in Glendale?
Yeah.
Classic.
Oh, yeah.
Classic. Yeah, that is a crazy wait going to that place.
It was fun. I was like, I'm not sure I can walk, but I'm gonna have these green beans with garlic because they're the best.
They pound. The green beans with garlic so pound out of control. Did you get some soup dumplings?
The wontons? We got the spicy wontons.
Yeah.
No soup dumplings? No xiaolong bao?
Soup dumplings go crazy.
Yeah, xiaolong bao. Yeah. But we didn't get dumplings in soup.
I've never heard them call... Wait, did you call xiaolong bao soup dumplings?
Yeah, it's literally dumplings. I just call them soup dumplings, essentially.
That is like... Okay, that's all right, that's pretty hard. We're moving on this one. I'm not gonna rinse you out for this one on Plat Chat.
Yeah. And then yesterday, we went out to celebrate Joshua Wilkinson's birthday at a Korean bar. And so, I don't know how you feel, Scott, but I might need some carrying during the podcast.
So,
yeah.
I'm late. So, yeah, it was fun. It was good to see those guys again.
They haven't changed one bit, which is amazing and also scary, but also amazing.
Bren's the responsible one of the two now. I think that's worth bringing up.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Which is a weird revelation.
Yeah, Brown has gotten much more. Brown and Sideshow. Brown has gotten a lot more. That's what everyone's calling him on the streets now. By the way, they're calling him Brown and Sideshow. He's actually shaped up his act a bit. Josh has not shaped up at all. He's still egg shaped.
We had fun. Let's just put it at that. We had fun at a Korean bar. Like you'd expect. Anyway, good times.
God, I was so fucking annoyed. Josh sent me a text and was like, "Hey, you coming?" And I was fucking watching Fast X, bro. God fucking damn it!
You missed this birthday party for Fast X. Okay, you didn't say that. You didn't say that.
In my defense, I'd already booked the tickets, and he texted me that like when we were in the fucking cinema. Hey, you want to come out? And I was like, I'm fucking watching the film, bro. Like, what do you want? I'm not leaving. I booked these tickets already. Good film, though.
That is fair. Josh did reach out to me at like 7:30 p.m. I was just like, hey, do you want to come out tonight? And I was like,
same.
Cool.
Dude, classic behavior from those folks. I can't believe you watched Fast X though. Dude, and said that it was a solid film.
It's good. Jason Momoa in that film. I don't want to spoil.
I love Jason Momoa.
Who fucking gives a shit about spoilers? I mean, maybe some people doing the fucking thing, but like, Dude, Jason Momoa's part in that film goes crazy. That guy is a legend. It's easily the best part of the film, like his character and the way he plays
But
it.
it's still a Fast and Furious movie.
I know. It still gets ridiculous, dude. Like, I went in there and they showed... The funny thing is, at the start, they do this with they've done this with the last few films as well. They always show bits from 1 and 2 and like a little bit of 3. So it's like, don't worry, there might be races, but we're going to show you old clips from the old films because remember how good they were. And then they obviously launch into how ridiculous shit. They didn't go to space this time, though. I was hoping they might go to like, a different
spoilers!
planet, but...
I was really
Oh, sorry, my bad. They don't go
again.
Ludacris doesn't go to space round 2 with
Dude,
yeah,
the way Fast and Furious is, it's that franchise is fucked. I've seen there was like the collection of Twitter clips of like people like they act like superhumans where like Vin Diesel, the guy, they push a guy off a car and then Vin Diesel sees him falling and revs up with like the Camaro and bounces him up with the car. He hits them and bounces him back up on top of the car. I'm like, dude, if that happened, your rib cage would be Johnny dislocated his knee going in between a table. Like your rib cage would be shattered. Your bones would all be broken. Like there is no fucking way on earth that like and the thing is people keep watching and you know what? I'm like, fair enough. It is a shitty franchise, but it's a fun shitty franchise.
Though, they realized how ridiculous it got when they stole a fucking submarine. They went to space in a car made of duct tape. Like they know how ridiculous it is, and they just keep kind of pushing it one step further, which is the funny part of those films. They're just silly. That's why they're good. They're just silly.
Yeah, you can't complain about the realism in Fast X. I mean,
yeah.
It's off the goop.
Vin Diesel is still Vin Diesel, which is all you need to know. Although, oh my god, AMC, holy shit. I've never been to a cinema in the US, by the way, ever. And obviously, cinema prices are a bit ridiculous. I took my own fucking watering, because I'm not going to pay like $8 for a fucking water.
Damn, this guy's bringing in the water too.
Yeah, dude. I was, oh my god. I'm like, I wonder if they're going to do any special like Fast X shit. Because I was like, oh, if I can get a fucking plastic cup with Vin Diesel's head on it, that'd be kind of funny. But they were selling a Dodge Charger, like Vin Diesel's fucking Dodge, right, with the fucking engine coming out the
Please stop cursing. I driven you. I beg of thee.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Fuck Jack.
He had a Dodge Charger, right, but it was a plastic one, and you could use it as a popcorn thing. So it removes the lid, and then the popcorn goes inside, but you don't get popcorn with it, and it was $50. $50 for just this plastic car that you could use for popcorn. Comes with no popcorn. So didn't get it. I can't wait for the next 2 weeks for them to be on eBay for $5. So I might pick it up for.
I mean, I respect people that bring in snacks to the theater. Still, it's more so like if you're like, I mean, like I can get that at least. Like the snacks do go a little crazy. Also, I'm pretty sure isn't the ad revenue only effective if it's in the first like minute, 2 minutes?
Yeah, we're past that.
We're way past that.
We've gotten to the point with Jaws now where I might have to like change our ad stance on the videos because there's like excessive cursing in our videos.
Okay. I will stop. I'll make a concerted effort. I do apologize. It's just when I'm around other people, I just go off.
I don't know what the magic number is.
It's just a podcast.
Maybe it's like 20, 30 curse words per episode or something like that. But if we start getting past that, it gets into...
I think we'll be fine. We still have that contract with all the daycares, right? To where we're the choice of daycare entertainment. So maybe we can't have too much cursing in our videos. They just put us up on the screen and they're like, "Hey guys, it's time for Plat Chat." And then there's Jaws, the fucking popcorn.
These videos are not made for kids. YouTube, not made for kids. That's you have to be very clear about that on YouTube. Otherwise, they mauled and they lose their stuff. They lose their marbles. Anyway. There's an important date coming up, guys. There's an important date coming up this summer. For a few of us, but one in particular. Can you guys tell me what happens on June 18th?
June 18th. Play in LA.
Mid-season madness?
Is it? No, it's not. No. Well, actually, wait. Yeah. No. I was scheduling it. No, it is mid-season, right? Because I was scheduling stuff.
It's like around then, right? June like 16th to 18th.
Yeah, I think it's 16th to 18th is June.
Yeah, that's all we're looking at as our final answer.
Last episode of Plat Chat.
June 18th. It's Father's Day, and if you haven't got a Father's Day present, let me tell you about Manscaped. They got the perfect Father's Day gift for you. All right, it's what every dad needs. And I don't care if you are like 50, you're 60. I don't care if you're a dog dad like me in your 20s. I don't care if you're a teenage dad. All dads, they need Manscaped in their life. And look, they got a deal of a lifetime right now. If you go to manscaped.com and use the code PLATCHAT for 20% off and free shipping, this is a perfect gift for you. And you could go to Manscaped right now. Like, you could literally buy the gift right now and not have to think about it for another second of your day. You know, when you get close to like birthdays, you get close to Christmas, and you're like, oh, I have to buy this person a gift. I don't know what to buy them. If you need to figure out Father's Day, go buy it right now. You'll never have to think about it for the next month. It's the perfect gift. So Manscaped, they got a great package deal right now. You can buy the Performance Package 4.0 and the Performance Package 4.0. It includes the Lawnmower 4.0, okay? The trimmer, the brand new Weed Whacker 2.0 ear, nose, and hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant. Any ball deodorant lovers here in the chat? Yeah, great to hear it. The Crop Reviver toner, Performance Boxer Briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. Look at that. Look at this performance package right here. Perfect for any dad. Manscaped.com. Utilize the PLATCHAT code for 20% off and free shipping. There you go. Father's Day present right there.
In Australia, Father's Day is on September 3rd.
Great. You can buy 2 Manscaped packages.
Oh, that's really good.
I'll buy him twice. Okay, that sounds good.
And because it's not a digital product, you won't have to pay like the ridiculous like 20% Australian tax on like digital goods or whatever. Because isn't like all of your video games in Australia, don't you have to pay like some ridiculous tax on, even though they're still digital? Like, I remember OC people telling me that when they buy Steam games, it's like crazy. But thank you, Manscaped. They sent us some a while back for Plat Chat Valorant.
It did.
And they sent a bag, and it's very nice. It's very nice. Plus, I think that overall, you know, they're just nice. They're just kind of nice across the board. I actually really like the bag. The bag, actually, even if you just have the bag itself and you don't end up putting the products in it, I use it to move stuff in when I travel a lot.
Like toiletry bag? Yeah,
I just use it as a toiletry bag. I use it as a toiletry bag like a lot.
It looks very hardy. Like it wouldn't get damaged.
It is hardy. It is very hardy. So I think it's... Yeah, it's a nice, it's overall quite nice, actually. Their products are very reasonable.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel like sometimes there's this kind of like perception to, you know, go with a traditional brand because whatever reason, like Manscaped is a relatively new brand, of course, in this space. I'll just go out on a line and I'll just vouch for Manscaped. Like, I've used Manscaped for years. I think it's great. I love their product. It's easy to use. It's amazing. So I'm going out of my way to just vouch for Manscaped. If you have any dubious thoughts about, you know, traditional brands, stuff like that, just go with Manscaped. They're specialists. They know what they're doing. They're like a Genji player you can trust with a nano boost to go with the nano blade. It's like Manscaped. They know what they're doing, and you can have complete faith in their products and what they achieve. So, yeah, if you need a Father's Day gift, go with Manscaped. You can get it done right now. Manscaped.com. Use code PLATCHAT for 20% off. There you go, guys. There you go, guys.
Let's go.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Manscaped. We love you, of course, as always. So, here you go, chat. Spread the good word about Manscaped. Moving on to today's show. We did talk about PvE last week to an extent. At least part of the discussion was about PvE. That was supposed to be about PvE. But we wanted to take a second today to talk about what the actual game of Overwatch needs right now. Because with the sort of shift in tone about what the future of Overwatch is, it's no longer an MMO, kind of like RPG, big PvE, quest items, replayability, whatsoever. They did say in the interview that, hey, we need to focus on the game of Overwatch as it is right now. The PvP aspect of the game and everything that rolls around. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the experience could be pretty improved from what it is currently, and there are a few things we need in Overwatch to really enhance the experience. So just wanted to do a roundtable chat today, brainstorm some ideas. What do we think the game needs? How we can really elevate the game of Overwatch and make it better? So I want to kick the ball to you first, Avast, because you weren't on the show last week. So maybe if you want to just give your quick thoughts on PvE. It's kind of like water under the bridge at this point. Like, people have calmed down a little bit, but you know, people looked at your tweets and referred to it as like the gold standard. The gold
standard me? The gold after they silenced me on this podcast, not allowing me to speak, I said I was the Malcolm X of PvE. I was too radical. They wouldn't let me speak. But actually that's probably a little insensitive. Probably shouldn't have gone also the Malcolm X of PvE. That's probably not
Wait
fair.
a minute.
But Overall, yeah, I mean, I pretty much stand by it. I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking pissed about it. I'm kind of like, holy shit, but at the same time, I'm like, well, if this is what they need to do, as someone that's now technically in a leadership position myself, I lead a team, and as a director, I technically I've done other stuff before that, but it's like sometimes it is better to cut your losses and run when you realize that it's just not feasible for you versus trying to force something to make it work when it's not going to work, especially when it's as technical as game design and building a game and like incorporating creative with technical. It's just like, it's a lot of parts. So I pretty much, my tweets did sum up all my thoughts on it. I'm like, I'm just pissed. I'm upset. There's a whole rant I could do about that. But at the same time, I need to move on with my life. You know, we need to move forward. We must move forward and accept that like this is the new direction and it's potentially a good thing in the long run. And you know, that's really all there's to it. I saw a bunch of people call me a shill for this tweet, and I'm like, I don't even think I was. I think I was like pretty fair, but you know, like
my replies were leaking to you. Don't worry about it.
Well, Johnny, I mean, we were two different stratospheres of cope, and with our tweets. To be fair, like you're the two different stratospheres, but like
I was
think
in a different
overall,
galaxy. Yeah.
Yeah, your galaxy was far away from mine. So I think that overall, though, that's how I feel. I'm like, I'm sad that it happened. I'm pissed. I'm like, holy fuck, what happened? But at the same time, it's probably good for the game long term. And I'm glad they're getting their shit together, even if it's not exactly what I wanted. And I hope with their extra focus, they can turn that to better product for the current service and also give us more IP outside the game as well. Would be nice. So
yeah. I like, obviously last week I was just like upset and my disappointment was just immeasurable, and like I think it's important to sort of have that moment of like mourning and disappointment, because like that sort of like needs to reflect how the community feels. But at the end of the day, like, it's been a week. I think what Avast said and the points laid out, like, they are absolutely true, right? Like, yeah, we can be disappointed, but those points can also be true. Like, this could be a better thing for the game in the long run, of just like making sure the live service game is bolstered and that there's more resources. And like, if the developers like, hey, we didn't have the time, effort, or just like the scope of what we tried to create was just so ridiculous that at some point you need to just cut your losses, as Avast said. So I agree. I think this is a good direction for the game now as we look forward. The major thing that they have to do is just restore faith in the Overwatch community that what they're going to keep putting out is going to be awesome. Like, they've talked about how like, oh, season 6 is going to have so much stuff in it. We're so excited for season 6. Like, that season 6 really does need to bang, and they need to show some like really polished products that are going in, and it can't just be, you know, the archives that we've done in the past. It can't just be these like shitty game modes that people pay for like 20 minutes and then go, I'm never playing this again. So hopefully this is a step in the direction that, you know, they'll hopefully be able to make bigger and better things for Overwatch and the PvP experience.
Yeah, that's the big thing. We need to see a lot more. That being said, there needs to be a lot of products coming down, a lot of improvement, I think, just to make up for the fact that we're not getting that standard. Because the fact of the matter is, without the PvE that exists, we're going to lose there are going to be fans that aren't going to come back. There are going to be fans that are going to leave. They're like, well, I was playing Overwatch 2 because I want this. There are going to be some people that we won't ever get at all, right? Because I wanted this dedicated PvE experience. But if you improve your PvP and make the PvE that you're going to make interesting and unique and good for your live service, you can get still plenty of people. Because at the end of the day, it's like, what matters is your long-term product for the game. It's not the current snapshot of it. And despite what like Bumlord29 says on Twitter, like, it's just,
what a name.
It's just going to be, you know, like, there's always going to be a mass of people that are going to be angry at all video game developers when they don't exactly get their way, and specifically at this title, because a lot of people just love to shit on Overwatch. It's just kind of a fact. So like, that's I think the direction is like, we have to see them produce some tangible good things if they're going to remove that, you know, and that's really what we hope to see.
I think things that people have been asking for an age would be a good fucking start. Like, there's so many things, especially even. Sorry. Okay, I'll stop.
Winning real hot there. Winning real hot.
No, it's not even about cursing. It's just like a hard take, you know. To quote Succession, it's a cold hard take. Just like, how about adding some new stuff, guys? We've been asking for forever.
I mean, it's not. I'm not fucking wrong though. I mean, I'm not wrong though, am I? Like,
No, you're not. No.
There's been plenty of things that I think people have asked for over the years that have just gone ignored, or like, holy fuck, 3 years down the line we finally got it. I think, for example, replay mode and like replay codes and like going back into games and actually viewing them again. You know, like that was a feature that people wanted forever, but it just took so long to be built into the game. With anything to do with monetization, please just make it better. Like, there's a lot of things right now that I think could be bolstered to help monetization, which could help the fucking game. Obviously, this doesn't impact gameplay at all, but there's something I've been thinking about over the last few weeks is how slightly lackluster I think some of the weapon cosmetics are. And
Yeah, so-
weapon cosmetics with... Sorry.
Do you mind if I interrupt you there, Jaws, and we can like deep into this entire topic and this subject as a whole, and we can just kind of take it step by step, and just like start there with the before we get there, though, I forgot something, guys. Manscaped also has a beard trimmer kit as well. So if you have a big beard for Father's Day, it's not shaving your crotch and your armpits and chest hair and all that. Okay, if you have a beard as well, if you're Matt Morello, they got a beard kit as well. So check out the beard kit as well, and you get like beard oil and beard conditioner and a beard hedge trimmer and all of that stuff. So yeah, sorry Manscaped, but there you go. Love you, Manscaped. Anyway, okay, so
Can I go?
no, you can't go. Give me 5 seconds, okay?
Keep him in check. Keep him in check, Johnny. It's time to
keep him
really
down.
just like flex your hosting skills here.
Yeah, I'm flexing. All right. So with this pivot onto Overwatch, the game as it is right now, there are a few changes we'd like to see, and we're going to do a bit of a list here. Just go through systems that we'd like to see, gameplay improvements that we'd like to see, and Jaws, to kick us off,
Okay.
let's talk about the cosmetics, the shop, the cosmetics, the charms. I know all of you guys mentioned the charms. You want to talk about the charms? So pick any of the cosmetics, Jaws. Where do you want to start with the shop and the cosmetic system?
Okay, so there's two main things that go with like weapon customization that I'd like to see. One, something that people have been asking for a long time, which is the ability to mix and match your skin with your gun skin. So you can have Arna's sniper model and then the default Overwatch 2 gun, for example, or, you know, the Tal skin. Maybe you like the gun because it has cool colors on it, and then you go with Captain Amario or something like that. And then with that, you could also just then sell gun skins, which will be less expensive than a skin as a whole, but still like worth making because, you know, it's money at the end of the day. And me personally, I just like the gun skins more than like the actual skin itself because I get to see the gun. I think a lot of people like that as well.
Yeah.
And on top of that, make charms better. Make them bigger. Make them just more visible on your character. I don't know if any of you have played with Hanzo and had a charm on your gun. You cannot see the charm. You just cannot see it unless you have drawn your bow. So like when you're running around normally, it's on like the inside of the actual bow itself. So when you run around, I'm not sure if it's different on console or different resolutions, but for the time being at 1080p on PC, I cannot see the weapon charm at all. Like it's just non-existent until I draw back. But how long are you holding your arrow? You know what I mean? Like actually going backwards and forwards. It just doesn't really, it just doesn't really impact the like flavor of the gun, the character. I feel like if you made charms a little bigger, a little bit more better placed, you'd be in a Rainbow Six situation where everybody fiends after charms, like they love them. And I think having a dedicated tab in the shop as well for specific charms would also be a good idea, rather than going into the player gallery, your character, and then have a charm list which is just giant. Like just have a separate tab in the shop that said charms, and then just lay them all out, have a little scroll menu, little pictures everywhere, and then have it on a certain model of a character. I think they're not very well executed. And that also leads into the weapon inspect animation, which was apparently an idle animation, they said, in the trailer, because everybody was like, where's that in Overwatch 2? But it was an idle animation. Add that to the goddamn game. People already spam spray out of habit. People will start spamming the inspect weapon like they do in CS. And I think that will add a lot more to your character, and you're just running
It's a way
around
to
and
show
like,
it
seeing
off,
the
yeah.
cosmetics. Yeah, exactly. People love doing that kind of thing. People love showing that stuff off. Just have that more prominent in the game, and I think you'd get a lot more sales of charms, because I personally really like them. I've got the little koi charm on my Arnaga, and I think it's really cool, but it's like really low down and like you can't really see it. Like just have them more visible, bro.
Yeah, I
Easy
agree.
money makers.
I agree. Like, I don't think I've ever noticed a charm in the game when I'm like playing the game myself or like watching. I don't think I've ever just like noticed it in the same way that like obviously Valorant is the prime example. Like where I just like when I look at someone's gun, I always notice the charm that they
See
have
the
on.
charm. Same with Apex.
I'm
you
not.
see the charm.
Yeah, I'm not an artist or like someone who understands like the logistics of this kind of shit. But whatever's happening right now is the average consumer. I'm not paying attention. Bye, Siri.
Yep.
Because the charms are cool, right? Like they are on par
cannot
with what
see
they
that.
do in Valorant, but they're just not as apparent as other games.
I challenge anybody to go into the game, like in a minute or maybe now where you're listening, and like equip it, go in training range, and see if you can see that charm. And I guarantee it's not the gun skin either. Like I just wear the festive Hanzo one, and it's like a default weapon. Then obviously it's an epic skin, so the model's different. You can't see it, man. Like make them better. Like reposition them, make them shinier or something, just to catch your eye ever so slightly. And I think it would hit a lot harder than it does right now.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely need to be. It needs to be forefront, like all sort of cosmetic stuff. It needs to be at the forefront of your attention. It also needs to be. They could also be doing a lot more with charms. Like something that I would love is like they even obviously this is a pipe dream type of thing, but like some of the examples would be like the charms are suggested by members of the community, right? Like they would develop charms from like streamers, like they something from memes in their chat. They develop charms from like pro players and things that they said like in Overwatch League. They develop charm from like famous like celebrities or something, that people that play Overwatch, like stuff like that, where like there's a lot more community input to the charms and what is built. And this goes beyond the charms, it goes beyond customization in general, but it mostly needs to be much more noticeable. It needs to be flashier for sure. And that includes the skins even. Like some of the skins, like you can clearly see the skins, but I still think that you can amp up skins a bit. Like there's definitely abilities to amp up some skins. So there's lots of room to do that as well. That has not been added, which is pretty basic. But
I just think like community interaction on that level is so much fun. Like regardless of what community it is, like even something like old school RuneScape where they vote on like changes to go through the game to like, do we want that? I don't think we should go that far.
Yeah,
but what if like in Aaron Keller's like Friday blogs or whatever, where he writes about the game, just at the end of the article, just like, hey, here's a poll for the next charm coming into the game. And there's like a poll you can monitor about which charm is coming into the game. And maybe you use like eventually all of those charms will in the game, but like one of them gets released first. It's just like a small interaction thing that I don't think had any real impact on like the release plan or like the money generation thing. It's just like added value to the community, I feel like.
I agree.
100%.
This kind of leads into a different topic about ranked, but I will just say, goddamn, like have a ranked charm as well. I don't know a single game out there right now that doesn't have a charm that indicates your rank from the previous season. And it have like, I sent this email a billion years ago to Team 4.
Why didn't they listen to Joe's emails?
Yeah,
I know.
I'm pretty sure that shit goes into the spam file pretty quickly.
It probably does. Like, it probably does. But I listed out like a ton of things you could change for ranked, and one of those was ranked weapon charms. So when you get diamond, for example, or like with Overwatch, you get the titles, of course, but maybe make the charms masters and above. So it again compels people to get higher and higher. Have a charm that denotes the rank, and that is stylized ever so slightly to the season. So this season is Space Opera. So at the end of this season, if you finished in Masters, you get a Masters logo, but it also has like stars around it or something. So it was like, oh, I was Masters in the Space Opera season 4. And you can do that for the very first one was a Cyberpunk, I don't know. Genji was the thing, so maybe like a little katana, like his katana that goes across one of the ranked logos or behind it or something like that. Just to, again, give more rewards and like incentives to play ranked and get a high placing in ranked. I think that is really good for the game too, because people, if you make charms the forefront, people are more likely going to want to buy them and going to want to earn them. So yeah, it's just a small thing, but fuck, man.
Okay.
More rewards.
we're gonna keep this moving here. Another bullet point a lot of people raised concerns about was the ranked system, and Jaws has been waiting like to talk about this for like a good over a month now, just like talk about the ranked system. But also I know you, Custa, you have concerns about the top 500 system. How do we feel about ranked in Overwatch 2 compared to Overwatch 1, and what could we do to improve the system right now?
I want to talk about top 500, Jack. That's the only thing I really care about. So if you want to go first,
no, you can go because I have thoughts on that too, but I'd like to hear yours.
All right, so for me, I think the top 500 is like a very archaic system in the video game like industry, and I think it needs to be like overhauled in a lot of ways. There's just a lot of issues that go into it when you think about it. First of all, especially when you have the start of seasons, you get a lot of people getting top 500 when they don't really deserve it because people just haven't filled in their ranks yet. On top of that, you have like an endless system of top 500 that you're playing to try and improve and get above people, but there's no visual number there. And we've talked about this on Plat Chat before of like, I think Apex has a really good system of they have a top 500, which is kind of like Apex Predator. And below that, they have like a, what is it? Is it like Masters or something like
Masters,
that? Yeah, Masters where you get infinite, like you just, once you get to a certain point, which is Masters, all of a sudden your visual MMR is shown to you. You have a number that is showing, and it's, well, like sort of, Jack. But here's what I want. It's like, at this point, once you've hit like close to the top rank, you should get a visual number. You are all of a sudden in the top 1%. We're no longer going to hold your hand and make you feel like, oh, we don't want to hide. We want to hide your rank and like where you truly are. At the top end, they should absolutely show you. So what I mean by that is when you hit Grandmaster or maybe even GM1, when you hit GM1, all of a sudden you're GM1 and you have a certain number under your name as well, which is essentially your skill rating, right? And your skill rating will go up and down when you lose games, kind of like SR did when you had it in the past. They need to do something like that to make it competitive at the top end and incentivize you to continue to play. And then you can have a top 500 system that works, and now you have a number underneath that as well, or that has like I am top, like I'm top 4, right? Like I'm the 4th in the support category, and this is my SR number, right? The cool thing about that is it gives you something to infinitely grind for, even if you are rank 1. You're climbing for the highest SR that you can ever actually get, and that's what people did in Overwatch 1 when they had it capped to 5,000, but I prefer to see it uncapped. Give them a number, just let them go as high as they can. And that's something that Dota has done in the past of, it was these massive achievements that people were going for of the first time anyone ever got 10k MMR. Because all of a sudden, they are proving how much better they are than everyone else, that their MMR, even though it keeps going higher, they can keep winning games. And that adds a level of continuous playability for these top end players. It adds a lot of viewership incentives of like players going for rank 1, players climbing the ladder. There's a lot of cool things that just makes it a lot more competitive. I'm not asking for this for the entire rank system. I just want this for the very, very top end, the top 1%. I don't know a single player who plays in top 500 who wouldn't want this system or something more to play for. And I think
most of the time now, like they just rank log. Like they just come into the season, play 50 games, and then they're out. Or not 50, but you get the number. Like they just play games to get to top 10, and then they just log out. And they don't even participate.
Yeah, and
that's a flawed system. And
it's not an easy, it's not a hard system to innovate either. Like it wouldn't be that hard to like bring into the game, right? Like, and I think that adds a lot for the competitive side of the game. And it's like in the past, I haven't fought that hard for it because I'm like, they probably are putting resources elsewhere to like put it into the PvE. They don't have someone who can put this in the game.
Well,
you don't have that anymore. So our wish list is getting bigger now of like, here's the shit that you need to start delivering on, because if you're going to do a live service game, catering to the top 1%, people who market heavily your game as a competitive game as well, you're creating a PvP game. You want to, bolster the PvP community and the high-end community. This is a great way to do it. Top 500's arcade.
So I will give an example, actually, Scott, or Johnny, sorry, of the log that people logging out kind of thing, like getting their rank. There's a person right now, I don't know who it is, but they are rank 1 tank, rank 1 support, 35 wins. There are motherfuckers in top 10 with 200 wins, and they can't get, like, they don't know where they are. Like, it's like, well, do I take rank 1 soon? I've won a ton of games. Like, what's happening? There's just no upward momentum for those players because you can't see anything. You cannot see the rank, which also kind of leads into a small comment. Put the rank on screen when you're playing. Why the hell is it hidden? I've had a few new viewers come in recently and like, are you playing ranked or quick play? It's like, Why can you not instantly tell what someone, or like, oh, what's your rank? Like, give me my rank icon back in the bottom left-hand corner without me having to put an overlay up. And it also, the old system showed the number too. If you were rank 330, it would say top 500 little logo, 330 beneath it. Like, I don't understand why they took that out. It makes no sense at all.
So I'm overflowing here with emotion, Joss. That is my biggest takeaway. You know that I've been playing more ranked recently, Joss, and I like really getting into it. The biggest thing for me, it honestly feels in Overwatch 2 like they're trying to make ranked feel like quick play. It feels like they sort of looked at quick play and where most of our player base probably plays quick play. It's a bit of a casual game. So how do we get people to play competitive more? Let's make competitive more like quick play. That's honestly what it feels like. It feels like they're trying to reduce the amount of like numbers on your screen. They're trying to minimize the impact games has on your emotional well-being when it comes to like your skill rating. Like, we don't want to show your skill rating. We're only going to give you a promotion or like relegation every 5 wins or 20 losses, whatever. Like, they're just trying to push that feeling off for like people being scared of playing ranked, losing the rank, whatever. And they're hiding all of these things. Like, what are we doing with this system? To me, it makes way more sense to put efforts into making quick play the most casual experience possible, and take ranked and make it the most like competitive experience possible. Make it the most like hardcore. That's for the dedicated people who want to climb and just like perfect the system that way. Don't take like quick play and make quick play 2.0 with ranked. Like, I don't get it. It's so casual. It feels so unrewarding to play ranked these days. Because I'm just like jumping in the game, playing like a little bit of deathmatch almost feels like, and sometimes my rank goes up. Like, it's so, it feels like every game is so irrelevant. Like, what am I doing? Why am I playing ranked? It just feels so unrewarding to me.
To add on to that, and to add on to Scott's point as well, I'll give you a little twofer here. Get rid of top 500 for 3 roles. Just have top 500. Boom. Boom.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a role thing either.
Top 500 is just there. It exists. Because do you know what's cool about that? Yeah, sure, maybe DPS players will be near top 10, but what if a support player, what if a tank player goes wham? I'm top 10, I'm rank 1 now over all these other DPS players. I think it would be way cooler to have that, because if one role does dominate the ladder, it is way cooler to see another role suddenly, wow, that's crazy. Lip is a rank 1 DPS right now, and then someone comes up and is like, oh, Chio, for example. Oh, Chio, different region. Oh no, not different regions, same team. They're not in Dallas Field anymore. Chio then becomes rank 1 on support. It's like, oh my god, this whole top 10 ladder is dominated by DPS, and now Chio's rank 1 on support. That's crazy. There are too many top 500 players in this game right now, because top 500 is not top 500. It's top 1500. It's so ridiculous. And the combined ladder would be kind of deleted at this point, or maybe it wouldn't be. I think maybe you'd be able to keep the combined ladder because it's the combination of all your roles, but every other role should just be boom, smack bang in the same leaderboard in top 500, or at least make it top 200 for every role if you don't want to combine the leaderboards again.
200 to 500 is so irrelevant.
So many people, bro.
And I say that as someone who is 200 to 500 range. Right? Like, that's where I'm sitting. I shouldn't be in there. Like, I think it's not the cool symbol of strength that like it used to once have, like back in Overwatch 1.
Seriously.
I almost want to shy away from the top 500 conversation, because the counter argument is that is like the less of the 1% that cares about top 500. But when I'm talking about ranked, like I'm GM4, guys. Like, I'm not that 1%
where are you
anymore.
in GM4, Johnny?
But
where are you in GM4?
I'm talking about,
you wouldn't even know,
people who are in Diamond or in Plat. Like, why does their ranked experience have to feel like quick play? And I hate this argument as well, that like, oh, the top 1%, the ranked players don't spend other money on the game. Dude, there's more replayability in ranked. We are the ones who day in and day out log on to Overwatch and play the freaking game. We buy the battle passes, we get all the skins because we play the game, because there's replayability, because we care about the rating, because we care about our rank. So we're the ones logging into the game every day, and meanwhile you have casual players who are like, oh, sometimes I'll play Overwatch, sometimes I'll play Apex, sometimes I'll play Destiny. It's like, we are the guys who came back, and girls, sorry, the guys and girls, and they, who come back to the game every day to play the game. So what is that argument? That we don't spend money on the game? Sure, we do.
It's also like, We're a competitive podcast. We're Plat Chat. We're talking about the top end competitive. We are the ones talking about the 1%. Like, I'm not saying this is the best thing for the game and how you fix Overwatch. I'm saying for the top end and the people that we are talking about here, that is what is important. That is what all Overwatch League players, all contenders players, this is what they're asking for. That is like a request that I have. The reason we bring this up, as I said, it's a PvP fucking game. If they want to like fully lean into PvP, that it is important to cater at least to some degree to the top end, the top 1%, to make it an interesting and competitive, because people aren't watching big streams of gold players. People aren't doing that. The biggest streamers are the people who play at the top end, and that is a massive thing to bring people in. That's why, Apex, Valorant, all that kind of stuff, a lot of people watch just the highest ranked players because it draws a lot of eyes and it draws a lot of interest into the competitive side.
If you want more people to play the game as well or play ranked, guess what? Update the goddamn rewards. Comp points, bullshit. Give me a diamond encrusted M16, from COD. Give me that, but on a Widow gun, Give me something to spend my competitive points on that aren't the gold guns, which also, I don't know what the hell happened to the lighting engine and the texture engine that when we moved from 1 to 2, but goddamn, some of those gold guns look shit now. They look so bad. They're not even shiny anymore. But competitive points, you got to renew that system, sure. Keep gold guns in, keep them at 3k, maybe just add a 6k, a 12k reward for just playing, winning, going multiple seasons, and make them difficult to get. You want the players like Cloud. I'll give Cloudy as an example, LH Cloudy. That dude, oh my god, he plays 2,000 ranked games a season, but he will have a ton of comp points by the end of the fucking season, and he will be one of those people with the golden encrusted Ryan hammer, or you can go one further, a flaming weapon, you know what I mean? We're at the stage now where we are a free-to-play game, and having those a little bit ridiculous looking cosmetics are where we need to kind of push the game to. So having a lot behind competitive points, I don't think is that much of a bad idea. Yes, I will say it does lock out, and this is an argument, it does lock out a lot of players that aren't very good, and it will take them a long time to earn those cool new weapons. And I know some people are still trying to earn gold weapons for their characters, but it's an achievement for being higher rated. You get more comp points, you get more rewards. On top of that, why not add banners? We've got a really cool profile system in Overwatch now where you have a banner, which is cool when you load into the game. It's got the little banner. I've got the little Overwatch League one, or there's a Koi one on sale right now, which I'll probably buy. But it is a cool thing that could also be implemented into ranked. How about we have a seasonal one where it's Space Opera 1, it's loads of planets, it's all starry, you have to play 50 games of ranked or win 50 games to actually be accepted and get one of those at the end of the season, but then it also denotes your rank at the very end, whether that's Grandmaster 1 or Gold 5, it'll have a little logo that says it, and it'll be like, oh, that's the Season 4 one, oh, you were Gold in Season 4, oh, you were Diamond in Season 5, so there's a little bit of progression there. Because the titles are pretty sick. I really enjoy those, but having a little something more permanent too. We had the player icons before that were gold if you're top 500, or if you just played the goddamn game, you'd get the generic colored one. Bring those back, but in banner form, and have your little ranked emblem on them, because more customization for profile like that is always going to be a good thing. And again, it incentivizes people to play ranked. And I don't want a ton of people playing ranked if they don't want to play. Fine. But more rewards for players that just play the goddamn game and just dedicate hours of their lives to the ranked system.
All right. I'm going to tee up Avast here. Because he's been a bit quiet when we've been fuming about the ranked system.
You guys
here
have
now.
been mauled. I mean, I haven't had a chance to bust in because there's been an incredible mauled occurring there. And most of the points are stuff that I already have. So I'm I'm just going to let them mauled over this for a bit.
Yeah. So I want to tee up for this one then, because it's something we've been talking about for years at this point. And Valorant lapped us on this one. Why is there no tournament system of Avast?
Oh God, dude!
Why is there no tournament system in this game after asking about it for so long, Avast?
The thing is too, and also it's going to tie into the other point. I think a lot of times we're approaching the approach, and it ties into the reward stuff of you're oh, ranked feels like quick play because we're trying to remove the bad feelings around ranked for people that are more casual. But it's really the key to make ranked feel less. Ranked will always feel bad. There is no solution to making ranked feel good. There isn't. Right? You're playing something that's competitive, and you will lose and you will win. The key is you're supposed to supercharge the triumphs and give people rewards for participating in the bad. Ranked shit sucks. It all sucks. It just and to different degrees, right? It's because you're always dealing with the human psyche of like, I am losing, I am winning, I am losing. Like, I'm dealing with fucking nerds on the internet that are gonna yell at me in voice comms or drop some new Zoomer slang I've never fucking heard before, and it's gonna annoy the hell out of me. Like, there's overall, like, to me, that's where the system here, and this is where tournament systems kind of fill that gap a bit, because not only does it it adds a competitive element that you don't necessarily have to play a random ranked matchmaking queue anymore, but you can still add rewards to it. Like, you can have a separate ladder for the best tournament system players, right? And like, oh, these are the currently best teams ranked in the game client, right? And then if you want to like link it into your esports scene, it's like, okay, well then the people that, and this is essentially how Valorant's going to do it, the people that do the best in the in-game tournaments then go to our like tier 2 circuits, right? Like they get their teams get promoted to these tier 2 circuits to play against tier 2 squads. Like, there's so much integration there. And then like, for example, if you do really well in the matchmaking like tournament system and in-game, you can earn rewards like banners, profile pictures, like icons, charms, skins. Like, it's the same thing with the skins aspect of like, why don't we have like even just skins for doing really well in ranked? In-game skins. Like, imagine it's like, this is like our whatever the WoW equivalent was when like you were a top ranked PvE player or whatever. Why don't we have that for Overwatch?
Mount.
Right? Yeah. Like, why don't we have those sort of rewards for like in-game for like, there's so much with the introduction of MTA, of like microtransactions and like customization and skins and banners. There is so much that can be added that has not even been touched at all in anything in Overwatch. And like it's the same thing with the in-game tournament client. Like, this is like a nice to have, but you can make, the thing is the in-game tournament client can be moved for all sorts of, like, you can have special events with tournaments. You know, you can just do PvP or PvE style events with a tournament system. You know, like your tournament system can be so utilitarian. It can have so much ubiquitous use across so many different game modes, across so many different events, and they just refuse to touch it right now. And like, and I know they talked about like, we want this guild system, but I'm like, okay, well, we don't have to do like, you don't need like you don't need your fucking guild house and shit like that. Like, it would be cool, but like, I don't need like my fucking metaverse board ape club. What I need is a tournament system where you can queue together with people, with friends, and just play. And like, you can just play like in that system, and you can get rewarded for participating in that system. And you can get rewards that show on you when you play ranked. You know, you can get skins, banners, stuff like that. Like, there's so many, you can get shouted out. Like, imagine like the best, and this goes for ranked too. Imagine like the current top 10 or like the best players in the tournament. Like, you open up the game Overwatch, and you hit the competitive queue, and there's like lower thirds or crawlers like going across the screen and be like, here's our currently top ranked players, you know, like fucking Pog. And you can like react to them winning like in the client, right? There is so much there that has not been touched on a lot of clients that, and some clients have done that like Overwatch can be kind of that person to do it, you know? And especially because we even have stuff related specifically to like characters and like heroes and stuff like that, which like we can have like, you know, shrines to the best players on different heroes in game, you know, like there's so many different things that have not been touched. It's hard to even imagine. So for me, like the tournament system is just something that's like, it puts you a step because we can integrate it into esports, but also it doesn't even have to touch esports. It can be its own separate thing that's still just like a better it just exists alongside matchmaking that you still get rewarded for participating in and getting rewards for being a part of. And then it feeds into this like that you know, that feedback effect of like, I play ranked, I play tournament system, then I advance into maybe esports if I want to do that, right? Like, and it's a direct feeder system the whole way through. But it's just the fact that it's been untouched is crazy. Like, realistically, for me, almost all my points relate towards rewarding players for continuously playing your game, which I think has been completely absent in Overwatch. That more so than anything else, for me, for the points of it, is like, you just need to give people cool things. Give them cool things. Give them reasons to play your game and come back and play. Yes, right. It's why a battle pass is good. It's why, despite what people raging and gnashing their teeth, battle pass is good because you get rewarded for playing the game. But like that needs to be extended across other aspects.
Yeah, like that's like, it's funny because like I'm like, oh shit, I'm halfway through the battle pass, but I'm about to go away for 3 weeks, and I'm like, is there a world in which I really want to finish this battle pass, and is it worth like? And I'm thinking about playing Overwatch in my free time and not streaming, and I'm like, oh my god, what this would have never happened in Overwatch 1. And like that is a really important incentive to get people to want to come play your games. And as you said, just to play the game is not a good enough incentive for video game players. Like you have to give them a reason and give them a reward for doing it.
I think the Battle Pass has done incredible things for like getting people to play, like you said, Connor, like getting them to play more than you would. And you said as well, like you, Scott, jumping onto the game when you're not streaming and shit like that. Like, I think they've done really well with it because you earn cool titles after you complete the Battle Pass. The Battle Pass is up to 80, level 80. But you can go up to 200. Like, that is crazy. Speaking of which, I'm almost 200 on this Battle Pass. It'll be the first one I complete fully, but oh my god. I wanted the World Eater title, so I was like, okay, I definitely want to get that before the season ends. And I've got it. But, like, I'm not going to lie. Maybe I wouldn't be playing in the morning at 8 a.m. randomly because without knowing that I'm going to get a title soon. You know what I mean? Like, I probably wouldn't be doing that. I'd probably be doing something else, but I love logging on now, doing a few challenges, and then just kind of fucking off because I know at least I can get some extra XP towards the titles, you know? Like, that longevity, that massive grind is already in the game if you want to complete it up to level 200. Why not add that to comp with competitive points? Why not add that in a Premier style tournament system where if you win a certain amount of tournaments, you get a cool thing in game? And this, again, it all links together. Just give me a weapon skin that I can use independently of the skin that I'm wearing. Maybe that's something that I get from the tournament system or ranked or something, you know? Give me a charm that says I won 5 tournament modes or like 5 games in the tournament system. Give me a fucking charm that says I am Grandmaster of last season and I'm, you know, I want top 500 this season, which will look even cooler. Maybe it's a spinning one with little sparks that come off of it. Like, just something, man.
So if I was a developer watching this, there is one common theme I'm hearing across all these different things we're suggesting is there's a lot of the word give. There's a lot of the word give right now. And at some point, the developers are like, well, how do we monetize this? And that's where I'm like, guys, there is tons of way to monetize these things as well. So a suggestion I brought up in a WhatsApp group I was in yesterday was just like, I just thought back to how much money I spent on the arena on Hearthstone when that came out, just to buy like entries onto the arena so I could keep playing that game mode. Like, I'm not saying you have to pay to participate in the tournament mode, but there are like tons of small little things. Like if you wanted to like buy an extra life or like do some kind of thing, like there are ways to monetize these things. You don't have to look at it as like free access and just gifting away skins. There are tons of creative ways to like really try to get some extra revenue out of the suggestions we're bringing here. So please don't, you know, like ignore that aspect that like there are ways to monetize this. When it comes to the tournament system, to me, it's really just about adding a different modifier to the game, like adding another way to enjoy Overwatch and not make it feel so bare bones to a degree, because I think my biggest complaints with Overwatch as the game is right now, the game feels so bare bones. It feels so basic. Like there's no depth to this game at all. Quick play and ranked is almost, as I said earlier, the same thing at this point. Like there's no alteration in experience there. We got roll queue and we got open queue and we got quick play and ranked, and then there's like some arcade modes, and then there's the workshop. Like there's no modifiable experience here for me when I start the game. And like, how do I get to play my Overwatch game today? And tournament system, it adds stakes on a completely different level. So now you're taking the game way more seriously. You might talk about the game differently. You might talk about compositions a different way. I don't even know how you're gonna approach maps, but maybe there's a way. Like you're approaching Overwatch the game in a way different way that makes it more diverse in terms of like ways you can enjoy Overwatch. And so I want to take that concept and move on to the final point I think we got here before we're running out of time, which is a social system. Now, Avast said he wants tournament mode more than he wants like a guild system. But I'm looking at Overwatch and I just hate how basic like the social systems are in this game. Pretty much the extent you can do things is you log on to Overwatch and you have your friend list and you invite someone to a group. That's pretty much like the limit of the social system. And you can endorse people anonymously. Like, where is me being able to like place allegiance onto my crew? Like, hey, these are my boys. And like, we unite under this tag. Where is me being able to look at my opponents like part of a different kind of crew? Like, you know, I don't know, maybe it's like in Apex where you can have this little like clan tag or whatever, and you'll be like, oh, if I see someone with this clan tag, that means something like that. Like if I was playing against similar folks in ranked all the time, and I came across someone who had a specific clan tag and identified on with a different crew, maybe there'd be some extra incentive me there for like try to beat that person. Whereas like I got my crew and like I can display my allegiance to my friends, and like this is the banner we're rocking, or like clan logo. It's a different way for me to connect and make friends. How are you making friends in Overwatch right now? You don't go to some like Torb workshop server and like find people who have some shared interest of yours? Are you going into quick play with the intention of I'm gonna make friends today? No, you're not. Like maybe you have fun on a Friday and you like add them to friends because they said something funny in voice chat, but there's no way to discover like-minded people. How do you find friends in Overwatch? I just really think that guild system would be a way for your friend of a friend to invite someone to your guild, and then maybe you play one day and suddenly you made a new friend. We have to like think outside the box here and really expand the ways you can use Overwatch as a competitive, or not even competitive, that's the wrong word, like approach gameplay in a different way, but also as a social game. Like how can we evolve Overwatch as a social game to where people log on every day to find new friends and like enjoy hanging out with people?
I mean, also I didn't say that I'm not opposed. Like I'm not opposed to a guild system. It was just lower on my totem pole of things that like I think need to be fixed first. Additionally, also in that issue of monetization, I think a big thing because I do think that's fair, is like, how do you monetize just giving people rewards? Well, the easy answer here is that it's the PvE. The PvE here is like, the way they're going to integrate PvE into their live services, I imagine there's still going to be some components of like, you will have to purchase certain things to participate in certain PvE things, or like, because to me, I'm viewing it as like, if you get to participate and like purchase the mode to play in these various PvE like little events, you then also gain rewards for competing and playing the PvE that can be displayed on your PvP profile, like banners, skins, charms, things like that. Like, to me, that seems like a pretty easy fix, because not a lot of live service games, like multiplayer games, are doing that, where like there's now going to be an included PvE component that's not separate, like an actually still fleshed out, like not nearly as much as like a single campaign, but they still said we're gonna have a fleshed out like hero missions and stuff like that, like component of PvE in your live service gameplay. And that's where you monetize a lot of that stuff for like rewards, right? Like you can like be like, okay, you have to pay X amount, but then also you gain this. Like you pay to get our product, but also you are receiving rewards that you can also even use in PvP in return. You know, like to me, PvE seems like a natural channel that not a lot of other games have to like funnel monetization towards, that also allow you to also get rewards via monetization.
You could even link it to the battle pass. If you buy the battle pass, you
could even
also
link it to the
get
battle pass,
the PvE pass or something. So like you just spend the $10, you get the battle pass, but then you also get to you also get to play these small events like Connor was saying. I know we're trying to move on, but I just want to make a quick point on this, Johnny, is like a devil's advocate situation on this whole guild system, because I think it's important to touch on. There have been other games that have done it before and they've shut those down, or they completely ignore them. Maybe Overwatch would be different, but League of Legends had a club system. No one used it really. You got the little tag, you went into games, you had your little tag. It could be anything, you know, it could be, you know, the word cool, you know, and you have cool in front of your name with 2 little brackets. And then you could invite people into the little clubs. There were some problems with it. You could only have X amount of people in the clubs, but it did link also into their tournament system that they had in League of Legends. Apex does the same thing. They also have the club, and you can invite people. I'm in the Ducks one with Matt and Scott and like a few other people, right? When we had Ducks, let's go Apex. It's cool to invite people from that you maybe not have on your friends list. Maybe they're friends of friends, like you were saying. And there's an activity feed in Apex as well, and it says, Jaws finished 2nd place on World's Edge 2 hours ago. Jaws finished 1st place on World's Edge an hour ago. But like, there's not much else to it. Like Apex 1 is definitely the most bare bones one. It has the activity feed and that's about it, and you can invite people. There's no tournament mode in Apex, so you can't really link it to that. In League of Legends there was, but they discontinued the clubs because it was more resources they were using on their end that they could probably use to do something else, basically. And the upkeep, obviously, of the code as well. As something worth thinking about. If you implement one of these systems, it's not just a one and done, we've implemented it. You need to maintain the code. Every time you change the game, it could fuck with the club system or the guild system, so you need to kind of maintain that code like constantly. So that's also an extra burden for the developers. So while I think it would be cool to have a guild system, there are definitely flaws with it, and I just don't think it will be used as much as people says it will be used.
No!
I just want to.
I mean, also I agree with Jack because like the Valorant, which has a very booming, obviously like social system, their system is not very complex either. It's just social, like in a multiplayer game, those experiences are, especially a shooter where you're not like in a very long, like protracted, like you're running into people all the time and such, etc., etc. Like it's not like a MOBA per se. Like it's, or an MMORPG. Like I should say, it's not an MMO. I think I don't think a guild system is entirely necessary. It's cool, it's fun, but I don't think it's necessary. To me, the social system will grow just based on people playing together in games and like doing stuff in games. And also I think like having modes, like I think PvE is going to be a huge ability with the way it's introduced to actually increase the amount of social interaction you have across both PvP and PvE, because you can do like these raids, these instances where like you can group up with random people, and if they add some layer of complexity, I think that'll naturally follow for like you can make friends to then play with PvP with. So like if anything, Overwatch 2, the way they're going to be integrating PvE into the live service solves a lot of the problems that we bring up if they do it correctly. Obviously, it doesn't fix the problem that it's not going to be a cool campaign, and they did spend 4 years on it. But like like they still, it does solve the issue of like a lot of these other things they're bringing up if they do it correctly.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree.
Scott, you had a point on that you wanted to?
Yeah, I just like my end point is like you sort of brought up that we were like, oh, we want them to give us something, and I know for a lot of these it's not things that are going to make money, but I think for the longevity of Overwatch as a whole, they need to give a lot of better systems to keep people around, because there is no light at the end of the tunnel. Like this, like I agree that a guild system might not be used that much, but it'll help. I think bringing back looking for group and allowing people to find other people to play with, great idea. I know a lot of people that use that system. I don't know why they didn't reintroduce it to Overwatch 2. Like my top 500 thing, that's a big thing. As Jack said, the charms, like all of these things, as much as they're not a direct result of MTX, it will better the experience of playing Overwatch, which will then result in skins getting sold. Because like,
also produce better microtransactions. So sorry, I was just gonna say I don't know why I just blurred into this, but also what helps, just continue to make better skins and people will buy them as well.
And they keep doing that, like keep doing what they're doing. The battle pass is good. I think it's been interactive. I think they're worth the $10 value. I think the mythic skins are sick. They keep doing PvE, but then just like better the game and like the systems around it, people will continue to play. That's why everyone loves the game. Like I don't think fixing the game will never be fixed. The game will never get to a point where everyone can agree that it's the best game ever and that everyone loves it again, right? Like that's not going to happen. You just need to make the game more accessible and more fun to a wider range of audience.
All right, there we go. There's our discussion on how to improve Overwatch moving forward, because I do think we all agree to some extent, like we need better MTX and we need more ways to enjoy Overwatch overall, and really reiterate some of these modes, because it's starting to feel a bit stagnant. And if this is the Overwatch experience, you can certainly build some more stuff on top of Overwatch as it is currently to make it better. So here we go. All right. This is gonna get so chaotic. I'm so ready for this. I've been waiting to do this for like solid 4 weeks now, I think.
And I'm excited.
Yeah, Custa is in pain because he knows it's gonna get chaotic. There's going to be a lot of people upset. There's going to be a lot of emotions involved. We're doing a 2023 Tracer rankings. The Tracer players in the Overwatch League currently, we're going to put them on a tier maker and just let the opinions fly. Who are the best Tracers in the league? Who are the worst? Custa did this once in the past, and he got absolutely flambasted. Is that a word? Something like that for it?
Lambasted
for it. I don't even know what that means. Maybe I should read up on what the words mean.
I mean, you're just getting rolled. You're just getting smoked.
You're just getting rolled, yeah.
Yeah.
So we decided as a podcast, we're going to get rolled this week, and we're going to rank all of these players. But I've added a gimmick, guys. There's an added gimmick to this. There's an added gimmick to this entire thing. Because you see how many players that are? There are like, that's like 25 players right there. There's an added gimmick to this. We only have 1 minute per player to decide where they go. So Solomon's going to be on top of this timer, and we have to decide where to put them. And if we, at the end of the timer, we just got to throw them in there. All right? I don't care if we disagree. We just got to throw them on there and move on to the next player. And in the end, maybe we'll take an extra couple of minutes to just like figure it out, because it's going to look wonky because of this one timer bullshit. But it's just a gimmick to have the show move on and actually like have some flow in the show.
One clarifying question before we begin.
Absolutely.
Is this rank based within the peers we see here? Like they're ranking them amongst their peers in this list, or just our general perception of them overall? You know,
let's do ranking among these players. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
To just avoid all confusion. So if you're a D Tracer player, obviously among these guys, I don't even know who would be D in
you
this,
could still be
this
like
field,
a very
but
good Tracer player. You're not the best. You're like a D tier amongst this list.
yeah, I don't even know if you need to put like a text or something on the
Did
screen
we
to just like
intentionally
clarify this.
omit
But
some players?
I can't say that I had like a system in mind, but my gut feeling was like I took the players who played Tracer in 2023, and then I added in a few players like Lip, for example, who obviously plays more Sombra, but we know Lip has a great Tracer. So, and yeah, I omitted a few players. Like if you're on the Valiant, yeah, sorry, I didn't include you.
Like Mouthful and like Dove.
No, he's not. No, Mouthful is not here.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Let's keep it moving. Yeah.
All right, Jaws, did you hear that I said about the timer?
No clue.
Okay.
Well, you
there's
walked away.
We have a
you
minute.
can't
There's a
hear?
minute.
There's a minute timer, Jaws. There's a minute
We got a
timer,
minute
Jaws,
to debate
and
this.
we're ranking the players. Yeah, so
Okay,
Dove is not
good.
on there. Sorry, guys, Dove is not on there. Maybe Dove should have been on here actually.
Dove should have been on
It's
there.
fine. We're in it. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. 1 minute. Sugar free. Where's it going?
A.
Hey.
Yeah,
I think
probably.
he's an A. I think Sugar Free is
Yeah.
an A because I'm gonna tell.
Could he be in B? There's going to be a lot of people
There's
in
gonna be a
S&A
lot of
here.
great Tracer players here.
This is the top end daddy Ted Tracer list right
I mean,
here.
this is like a pure Tracer player list, isn't it? Yeah, it is
Yeah,
a pure
like,
Tracer
he's
Not a
list.
pure Tracer though. He's more of an like his Tracer
Yeah.
is not his best hero, so he
No,
probably
yeah,
shouldn't be.
I would say I actually that's completely fair. Maybe a B.
B?
Maybe
I
a
think
B
he
for
goes into
Sugar
B
Free.
in this list.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
maybe a
we're
B.
going
That's
to
fair.
be very
Compared
top
to all
end.
these legends, yeah.
That's
yeah.
fair. That's fair.
All right. Wow, we might not even need a timer. There you go. Solomon, I don't know how annoying that is for you. Alpha Yi, where's it going?
I mean, that's like an easy.
Probably A or
That's like
S.
an
I think he
easy
goes into
ARS.
S.
I think
I'm
it's
going
probably
S after this season.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he like because also he hard carried at points in APAC as well, and he's doing it how.
Okay, is Alpha Yi really in that list though? Think about it. Like there is a lot
And
of
that's the
S
thing.
tier
There's a lot
players.
of players. The thing, because also part of the history here, it's the history of some of these players too, for how long they've been doing it. Like because like Kevster is gonna be like we're just gonna say Kevster's gonna be an S. Like so like, and these guys been doing it like this for like what 3 years, and Alfie I mean 3 4 like
he has
and
not.
Alfie has not quite, but I mean he has had a really good. I would not be upset to put Alfie in S tier though, because I think his years that he's been in there, he has pounded, and he is the sole reason. In my opinion, he's the sole reason this isn't Justice is doing as well as it is.
Yeah,
so
I mean, he's started carrying for sure.
He's either bottom end of S or top end of A. I'm happy for either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go with S here. I think I have unwavering faith in Alpha Yi, like even against some of the best Tracer players in the world. So there you go. Alpha
and
Yi,
also we'll still
1
have
minute.
placements within the there, you know. Well,
Yeah.
there's placements.
Yeah. And
like
as I
within
said,
that, so.
at the end of the thing, we'll have time, just a couple minutes to just like figure it out, iron out the details, stuff like that. All right. So there you go. Checkmate. Here I'm.
He's not an S.
No,
he's
not an S.
he's an. I personally think Checkmate's an A tier Tracer.
I would agree.
You think
He's
he's
better than
diff
Sugar
sugar
Free?
free?
I don't
think he's
know
better than
if he's
Sugar
like. I don't necessarily know if he's like diffing Sugar Free all the time, but I would take I personally think Checkmate Tracer is very underrated compared because Checkmate is like kind of an underrated DPS player because of the memes that happened with him when he joined Mayhem.
Look at the list. Look at all these players that we have in this list. Are we really going to put Checkmate in A? Like this is the cream of the crop. If we don't put Checkmate in B, then no one is going below B.
Yeah, but Checkmate. Oh fuck. Fuck. I mean, you're probably right, but then the question is, I mean, like, who the fuck is going in C and D in this list?
I feel like Checkmate is better than Sugar Free.
I think Checkmate
wanna put
Tracer
Sugar Free
is
down?
really, really good. I think Checkmate Tracer is better than Sugar Freeze. I agree.
Are we going to put Sugar Free down then into C in this list?
Holy shit.
Wait,
I
okay,
mean, if we're
you got to
talking
look
about-
at it objective to the list that
We're
we're looking
objective
at,
to the
right?
list.
Yeah.
Objective list. That's okay. I can live
Timer's
with
up,
it. I can
timer's
live with
up.
it.
B or
I can
A,
live with
B
it.
or A.
Yeah.
I'm going A.
No,
Okay,
B.
B,
B.
B,
I think it's
B.
B. I think I'll
Let's
leave it
go.
B. I'll leave it B for now. I'll leave it B.
Choice one. Where does choice one go on this list?
I mean, it's ARS. It's ARS for sure.
No, I would never put him in S.
Yes,
Choice one
yes.
is not an S.
Chosen
Yes.
One's
Alpha
DPS is nuts.
Okay, he is not an S. He's not up up there with these other players. I'll put him in A. I'm happy to put him in A. He's fucking been
A
running
is a
circle
middle.
around.
Honestly, I think it's an under. But I'll acquiesce on an
You're
A.
putting choice of one with Alfie, fucking proper.
Chelsea One's
Kev.
DPS is crazy, man.
Okay,
He's crazy.
it's good, but he's not
But
as good as those
I'll give him an A.
He's
I'll
not like
fine.
a Kev though. He's not. A
I'll
Kev.
give him an A. I think if he was outside of charge, I think he'd run a better system. He'd be a Kevster tier tracer potentially.
You think he diff checkmate? I feel like aren't they kind of on par in my opinion?
No, I think Chose won. I think Checkmate's really good. The problem is we're making some very just snap judgments here. Do I think Checkmate could probably compete with Chose One? Yes, but we already had to make our ranking. I think Chose One is like actually been held back by his perception because of the team he's been on. If he's on a better system,
Which is reasonable.
he would be an incredibly good player like Vaulted. So,
all right, moving on to the
we're gonna
best
get fucking
anti-tank
railed for
tracer in the game, Decay.
okay.
Really good at shooting Winston players.
I think he goes into S tier from this season.
Yes.
No,
yes,
he can't go to S for this season.
Yes,
Yeah, I would
his
put him in S.
tracer
I
has
think-
been crazy the last couple of weeks.
He is being
Okay, let's
like,
think about Decay's overall career. So we had this season, he's pounding,
he was
right?
good on Tracer every time
He
he's
was
played
good in
it.
fuel. That's true. He has been missing. It's just like there's been some missing gaps in the resume, essentially, right? There's been some gaps in there's been some working gaps. So the question is, does someone deserve to necessarily be S when they have gaps in between these levels? They were really dominant the 2 years they played.
I'm happy to put him in A
Tracer
just for good bants, but like I think if you
He
just
probably
look at him
should.
play, he should
be
he
in-
deserves to be in this S tier.
He probably should be S, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
he probably
Say what
should
you
be
want
S.
about Decay. Tracer is
Yeah.
his best hero, like
Yeah.
by far.
Yeah,
so
fair enough. Fair enough.
Very
fair enough.
good.
Fair enough.
I am very, very willing to put him on A later, though, after the rankings.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
willing to move him down after because I feel like it might get stacked here. All
Fair
right,
enough.
now it gets fun. Now it gets fun, guys. Moving on to the next one. He sang.
I'm gonna put him like. I mean, personally, so we pounded contenders. Guess what? Don't give a fuck. I'm gonna give him like. I'm gonna give him like
Probably
a.
a C.
I think he goes into C from this
tier.
year's performance.
Yeah, I'll put him in sugar-free
Yes.
tier so
Yeah.
far.
I think until he shows more for us in the league, I'm not going to put him higher than that. He hasn't played better than a C tier tracer. And like that could be a result of the team that he's on has just been struggling, but I don't think until he proves that he can do it in the league, he doesn't deserve to be above Checkmate choice of one or like in the same tier as those guys.
Yeah, I agree. Tend to agree.
Yeah.
Dude, who the fuck is ever gonna go to D in this list? Is
Yeah,
there
no, I know.
I think maybe
Yeah.
there's maybe one person I can see in this list that could go D.
Sparkle
All right.
do be coming.
Yeah.
We do have
Kev
one
is
player. Sorry, go on, Gus.
Obviously an S. Okay, sorry. I thought we were moving on.
Yeah, we're moving on. Kevster.
Just get over it. Just get over it. Put him in S. Put him in over.
Yeah.
Let's get
One
the
of
next.
best in
Let's
the
get the next like 3. Let's get the next 2 over as well.
Obviously, the next
I
three
mean,
are
leave
S.
and lip. I mean, like,
Yeah,
come on,
come on.
like,
I don't
come
think
on.
okay.
Do you
That's
think
what I'm
Leave is
saying.
still S tier?
So that's why I'm saying if we look at this list more with these tracers, I think like a Decay or maybe even Alfie should probably be moving. Like I would a million years take Kevster leave Lip over Decay.
You
maybe
would
not
take
Alfie,
Lip
but Decay.
over Decay Tracer?
I would take Lip over Decay. Yeah, I think I would.
What? We've barely seen that much Tracer.
I would take.
from
I
him.
would. I think I
It's
would
tough.
take
I
Lip
think
over
that's
Tracer
Decay.
good.
crazy.
I think I would take Lip Tracer over Decay. 100%.
Oh
Yeah.
my
think I would.
gosh.
I think I would. Because think about this year at Boston. There have been years. There have been like literally feels like years in game where Decay's just marinating a pulse bomb, just sitting there holding pulse bomb for so long, missing ball, like just literally.
Lip doesn't even
just-
really play Tracer though. His Tracer's great for
I
how
don't
little he's
care.
played
The
it.
guy's a freak of nature. He's like his XCOM mission. You unlock him, and he's like, "Holy shit, we got this thing now." In the XCOM team, like this guy is incredible. But
The reason I included Lip,
isn't
isn't Lip like the best tracer in like 2021? Like those couple of years
he
ago?
played it like a little bit, and he was
he
statistically
didn't play like a ton
incredible.
of it. Didn't play a ton
Yeah.
of it, but he was insane when he played it. Like to me, I think Kevster leave Lip kind of stand above alongside maybe like when we add in get to like a Prophet Striker type of thing. They kind of stand above and like it's hard. Those are the
I
big
think
three.
we're
Those are the
overstacking
big
S
3
tier.
guys.
We got to move on, but
Yeah,
I'm happy to leave him here.
move on.
Okay, moving
go.
on. Pelican coming up next. I will say, no,
he's
he
been
didn't
really
play that
good.
much Tracer last year, but this year,
He's
playing
been
more,
great.
been
He's been
improving.
great. He's been great.
I know a certain someone on the desk called Jake really values Pelican's Tracer.
He's been great.
I think he
The
has
thing
to
is,
go into A though.
he
I
has to
don't
be A,
think
yeah.
I don't think he's
He
earned his
can't
spot in the S
compete
tier
with
yet.
Kev, I don't think.
He's not.
Yeah.
He's not
Kev
been.
leads,
Yeah,
yeah.
comparatively to the people that have been like tracer monsters for a longer time, he just doesn't have. Now, granted, Lip technically does not fit that list. I just think Lip's a genetic freak of nature. So
Do you feel like our out is sample size? We can just like excuse
Yeah, I think
ourselves.
sample I think sample
but if we're
size
gonna
is
put
fair.
Pelican here because of a small sample size, then Lip also needs to be an A tier. Like it's
yeah,
like,
but
mean,
Lip,
he's a legend of the game.
What Lip was doing on Tracer in 2021 was far greater at times than what Pelican. Now, granted, Pelican's been having a great year so far, but
Yeah,
Lip did
Pelican's
some
great.
unholy things. in that year that he played Tracer. He did some unholy shit.
I think we got too many people in SD, but keep it going.
Yeah, we do. We're gonna have to move one of those players
we
on.
might have to adjust.
Moving on. Now, taking a bit of a break here. Prophet. Where does the GOAT go?
He's the GOAT. I mean,
he is the GOAT.
Yeah, he is 100%.
He competes, but like we might have to. Can we maneuver the other people while in this minute?
Yeah, sure.
Lip needs to go down. I think Lip and Alfie, you need to go down. Otherwise, our S tier is going to just be
okay.
rough,
I think if Alfie goes down, I think Alfie has to be like towards the top of A.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
Sub ranking.
Okay.
No, we'll do sub ranking later.
Oh, we'll do a sub ranking later.
Are we really having Decay up there with those guys?
I don't think Decay should be an S. I don't think it should
I'm
be an
happy to
S.
leave Kevs to leave him.
I think it should be an A. I think it should be an A. Yeah, I don't think it should be an S.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh my God.
I can live. This is more amenable to me.
Yeah.
This is more amenable
That's
list.
We can't just have everyone in S tier because they're all phenomenal players. It's among their peers, and all these peers are fucking incredible at Tracer. That's why we're gonna get railed. Someone's gonna go in C tier that's a great Tracer, and everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, they think this guy
guess
sucks.
what? They're gonna have to make it.
That's
They're
gonna
gonna have to
happen
fight
anyway,
with us.
regardless.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
let's get it over with.
Proper is
Up
an
next,
S.
we got
Let's get over with.
Just fucking Proper is S
put it in.
tier.
Yeah.
Yes.
No one's
Get
arguing.
over with. Okay,
no
shock
one
dick
asked.
riding. There it is. Dick riding. The dick eating is crazy. There we go.
yeah,
Like blah blah blah. There we go.
All right. And we can just reset the minute. Yeah, there we go.
Shy. That's a
This
good
is a
one.
sample size moment. Like,
I think he's
when was the
B.
last time we saw him play Tracer consistently?
Well, he's been playing for Ape. He's been doing some things for. He's been playing some for Apex.
They've been
so recently.
alterating,
He's
right?
been-
They've been mixing
Yeah.
up the roles.
Yeah, they've been doing some mix and match between him and Lee.
I would take
times.
Alfie over Shy on Tracer. Specifically.
I agree. I think Shy goes in a B. It's crazy because of how good his hit scan is. Like that's the value of him. Is like he is like one of the best hit scans in the world, and then he also can play Tracer to that level, and that's the same reason we look at Lip so heavily. But like, I don't think Shy deserves to be in the A tier with these other guys.
Yeah, so Shy this year has played 49 minutes of Sombra. Now, I made this list like a month ago. So when I made this list, they were just starting to play. And obviously, the rotation has changed a bit since then. But I felt inclined to include Shy because at the time when I made the list, it did make sense.
I think a B is fair because, I mean, realistically, like, he's also stuck in a situation where Leave is on his team. So, yeah.
And the year before that, Alfie was on his
Alfie,
team, right? Like,
yeah.
Dude, someone's going to maul so hard
All right,
at like
let's do
half
it.
time
Who
versus
cares?
Shy.
I'll
But,
love it.
all right. Here we go, Custa.
Time to put him
PTSD,
in, put
we
him in
got
there.
Sparkle.
Put him in,
Where
just
we
put him in the
Sparkle?
knee. Good bets.
Put him
Just
in
put
the
him in there for
knee.
good bets. Yeah.
Put him in the knee. There it is.
Okay, realistically, I want you guys to talk about this because I don't want to fucking touch this with a 10-foot pole.
I mean, I'm going to tell you it. It's just Sparkle is a great player, a great Tracer player. It's just clearly I would take every other Tracer player on this list over it.
Really? Oh, God.
Just about.
He said it on
So,
me. That he fucking...
But that's not because. But the thing is, it's mostly just because of the fact that like I would take Sparkle as a player over a lot of these players. Like over a lot of these players on the list, I would potentially put Sparkle in a system. It's just when it comes to a pure like I just want someone to play Tracer, I wouldn't put Sparkle above. Actually, I take that back. He's still going to be in D, but there's one person that he's going. He's going above one person on this list. He's going above one person on this list for sure.
I know the timer is running down. I will say my idea of Sparkle because it's a bigger debate, and also we save some time on like 3 in a row. What?
You're going to leave him in D tier?
No, he stays in D because there's 2 Ds. There's 2 D tiers on this list.
I think Sparkle's better than D.
I think he's kind of C in my opinion, but I think the perception was when he came into the league that it didn't really have a Tracer, and then remember he had that one season where like he really upped his game and like his Tracer looked really good and like he really worked on it. So I think that Sparkle's Tracer is actually like quite good. I wouldn't say it's elite like S or A or even B maybe, but like I think Sparkle's Tracer is good. If Sparkle is on Tracer, I don't mind it. I think it's good. I think it can.
No, it is. The
Yeah.
thing is, like, he's not like the only. I think all the Tracers in this list can compete against each other. It's just there's clear Tracers that you would like rather have, and like if you had to make a pick right now, like I would take Checkmate or probably Shy Tracer over Sparkle. Just personally. Then I'm like that, and then I would definitely take everyone to A and S over him. So then it's a question of like, would you rate Sparkle on the same tier as Sugar Free and He's saying? And that's like a little bit more fair of a question.
I would say yes.
I would put him on C, I think.
I would put him in C.
Okay,
Yeah.
we have to start. Okay, fine. We ended the
All
minute,
right.
but okay, fine. We can
Yeah,
C. Okay,
yeah.
well then here's our D tier. Put it speedily.
Here's our D tier. Speedily.
Put speedily in D.
You want Speedily and D?
Yeah, I haven't been impressed. I've been unimpressed. I don't think he's been bad though. Still, I think he's like shown a decent tracer. It's just once again like unlike Sparkle.
This is the upper end of the Overwatch League.
Yeah, this is like the best tracers in the world. Type of thing.
Yeah.
Like Speedily is not in. Does not.
Okay, if we're gonna do this, I want Heesang and D then as well.
If you're talking only 2023 performance, I think it's fair.
For the same reason, like Speedily hasn't played Tracer much
doing 2023. Just 2023.
Heesang's only played 2023, right? Like
If you look at contenders, like, well, I don't know.
It contends against not people like Kevster and proper.
Yeah, like
I think this is I think Heesang has actually been a bit better than we're giving him credit for. I think Heesang has putting up a C level performance on Tracer so far this season. I think it's getting overshadowed by the fact that Proper is also on his team, but Heesang has been putting up good numbers. I've been overall impressed by. I've been like, oh, amazing performance, but I think he's putting up C level performance for sure. But if we want to put him D across the board, if we're putting 3-1 D, I'll put him D.
Look, if you feel like it's the right thing to do, go ahead. I just want to stir up some drama, and drama would be Heesang in D.
I think he'd be in C personally, but if everyone else thinks D, I'll go with the group.
Bro, we're gonna have the contenders' heads coming for our fucking throats.
And I won't read a single reply. It's gonna be good, guys.
Yeah, good thing this is my last episode for about a month. I'm finishing this podcast and I'm fucking out. Don't try and DM me on Twitter. Don't tag me on Twitter. I'm not gonna read it. Don't care.
All right, moving on. Arguably the best Tracer player of the year so far, Stalker.
I think Stalker goes in S. I like he's put up that level of performance this year.
Incredible.
Yeah,
okay.
He's been phenomenal.
I mean that's fair. If we put it, I mean also his contenders performance was really good. He had pretty decent, okayish performances with like Soul when he got some play time, but it wasn't. Didn't really play that much. So yeah.
Yep.
I think it's just this year.
Moving on, a bit of a Tracer legend, but haven't played that much.
When was the last
year.
time Striker played Tracer?
It's like week 1 or 2, no?
It's been, I mean, he hasn't even played. Has he
I
even
don't
played
even think
Overwatch
Striker
League?
should be on this list.
Did he play?
I'm happy to leave him off this list.
Has he even played for Boston yet the regular season?
Yeah.
No, he hasn't played.
Yeah,
he played a couple early on, I think.
Yeah,
Wasn't it preseason he played?
I can't even remember the last time he's played. Can't even remember it. It has been a long few. It's been
I don't want to put him on this
time.
list because we're just going to rate him based off of his previous performance, and I don't
like if
think
you
that
take
matters.
his like early 2018 to 2020 type of Tracer, the guy is like an S.
Yeah,
like he's like obviously, but like we just haven't seen him as much recently. But also, in my opinion, like that's where I'm like, I guess the K gets a bit of a doubt because he has been playing recently and he had early performances where he's good. So yes, the K gets like a sandwich of sorts, while Striker just has one cookie. So I mean, like I don't know. I think realistically, the most fair option would be to not put him on the list. But if we're rating him fairly, I have a hard time believing he would not still be at least in the A tier.
Yeah.
I agree, but I don't like that. Feels so disingenuous. Like, how do we like know? Like, maybe the reason he's not playing is because he sucks at tracing now. We don't know the answer to that question. It's probably not true, as you said, just off of his previous performances. But like, I genuinely don't know the last time Striker played Tracer, and I saw it.
There is another version of this tier maker where we leave off Shy, Lip, and Striker, just on like sample size this year kind of level thing.
I mean, I would be okay with that necessarily. I would be fine with that. I mean, also removing them would make this a little bit more even in some ways. So,
okay. Well, we'll talk about it in a minute. We got a few more players to wrap up here. Next up, we got Viper.
Been really good for that. Good. Like he is the only reason that Shanghai Dragons won that
player.
game. I'd put him in C.
I honestly,
I would say.
I think he has to be at least in the B. I think he has to be at least in the B for sure so far.
Yeah, like he's been very.
He's got to be at least in the B. I'm agreeing. I'm happy
to leave him in B. I think he's been having a great performance this year. Like he's literally like one of the few bright spots of this Shanghai Dragons roster.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay, great. Moving on. We got Yaki.
S!
Where do we put Yaki in this one?
No. S. Put him there, right there. He's looking real good. He's like, what? No. How does he not deserve to go S?
I kind of want to put him in B, but I'll give you A.
B would be heresy. B would be straight heresy.
No, like, okay, I think
B would be actually heretical. You'd be burned at the stake if you put him on B.
I feel like Yaki is one of those players that people watch those crazy clips of him and then just forget about the times where he just gets fucking booty bopped for like 4 minutes and they get full held. But then they just remember that time that he killed like 19
But he's
people.
been amazing on Gladstone. so far.
And I'm happy to put him in A.
And
I'm just
also,
saying, if
people
I had
are
my-
like,
if I had
yeah,
my
but
way-
remember him on New York? But it's like, bitch was on one of the worst teams to ever exist in the Overwatch League.
Yeah,
And like,
you know?
like it was like, and he was desperately trying to pull out some, like, do some crazy shit out there. Like, yes, like obviously he got bopped a bit the previous year, but that's because it's one guy versus essentially 11. He's essentially was playing 1v11 in many of the matches. Like, it's like there was no.
Maybe he's the problem. Maybe you should play with the team a little bit. Have you thought about
No,
that?
but he has. He's been great on Glads. He's been great on
He has
Glads.
been
He's
great
been
on
so
Glads.
good on Glads. He deserves to be. I feel like he should be an S.
You're very
I think
passionate.
It's heresy.
I
think it's heresy he's
I
not
bow
an S.
down to passion. He can leave him in A.
What? Leave
Yeah,
him
it's
A.
like, what?
Hey, yeah, I was gonna say. bow
I
down to
won't be. I won't
passion.
be. I won't be angry if he's an A. I just think he deserves an S. But
Hey,
No,
dude,
I
you
would-
can't
over
make
my dead
the
body, he ends up in S.
comparison, bro.
Fine.
Maybe if he was on like a sick team over the last couple of years, we'd have a better like idea of where the guy lands. But fuck me, he's not Kevster, bro.
but he's
not-
diffed. He's diffed Kevster in the past.
Yeah, but that's
It's
because you're
happened.
omitting all the times that he got booty bopped by those players.
Yeah,
as
Sure,
well.
but the point
And
being
you're
is
gonna
like
yell
if you.
team.
But the point being is that he's been on teams that aren't as good.
Team
And he's
too.
done amazingly, like with Mayhem. Mayhem was not the most amazing team when that year when they were, but he did
But
do
he's
well.
not
do
any
well.
bright spot on that
Then
team
also-
when they had their dark
then
years.
also-
But-
Okay, fine, fuck it. Hey, leave
hey,
it there.
All right, we settled down. There we go. We got 2 more players left in here, or well, one actually. We got 1 final player left in here. It's Zest.
I mean, he has to be
Soul
like
Inferno.
A around
it has
here.
to be
Yeah.
Either-
minimum A.
Yeah,
Minimum
he's
A.
either S or A. I
Yeah,
think
it
it's
has to
hard
be
to
him.
put him in S.
I mean, he's been pounding. This is his second year of pounding though, because
Yeah,
he
he's
pounded
very
last
good.
year
He's
too.
really good.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if Zest is that good, and that, in my opinion, I'm almost like, well, why? If we're doing that for qualification, like, shouldn't Alfie and Chosewan and Yaki be essentially qualified in that tier?
You're right. I think we should leave Zest here and move Yaki down. I think that's the conclusion.
No, that is not.
Okay, good. I'm glad we
No
were-
way. No
Oh,
way.
yeah,
No way should Yaki be out of A. Yaki has to be an A. He literally has. Think about the list of traces. You're going to tell me if you put a B, it's like, can I get Checkmate or Yaki? Can I get fucking Shy or Yaki on Tracer? And you'd pick Shy, like, on comparison to Yaki still? Like, Shy's really
Yeah.
good, but I would probably still take Yaki when it comes to pure Tracer. It's pure Tracer.
If
It's
we're
pure
doing-
Tracer play.
He kind of does slot in nicely next to Checkmate, no?
He does not.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
I think, yeah.
No, he doesn't. This is heresy. This is actually heresy. He needs to be an A. He has to be an A.
I don't know where this like unwavering fandom came for Yaki because like
It's
I
not
don't
that
know.
we were fan of the guy's so good.
Yeah, he's good, but like when was the last time he had a good season? Right?
This season, right now, right
He's
now.
been okay. He doesn't even
This
play the
year.
Tracer. He like barely plays the Tracer for this team. It's
Oh
fucking
my
Kevster.
god! No, you're
Yaki's
killing
been
me.
a good Sombra. He
Yeah.
plays some flex things every now and then, but he's played
You're
like what,
killing
less
me.
than an
When
hour
you-
of Tracer?
There's no way he belongs in S if Kevster is playing over him. You know
Okay,
what I
sure,
mean? Like,
sure. That's
fuck
fair
me.
enough. I'll give you the S. I think he can, but like, I think he needs to be an A.
I think he's a solid A, but I wouldn't mind settling for B.
Yeah, I don't think B should be that disrespectful. E should probably go in. Yeah, I'll go with A.
Okay. Yeah, fine,
I'll
fine.
vote for A. So we got a few things to figure out here before we can leave. I propose that for the sake of integrity to the list 2023, we keep Shy and Lip off the list.
Okay.
Because they just haven't played that
Fair
much.
enough.
I propose
Fair
that.
play, actually. Yeah.
See, and look how much better this list looks now too.
Yeah, I
certain
do
way.
think that Toronto made like an effort to have speedily play the Tracer, and so I think he qualifies still. I need people who watch this segment to spread the information that if people are wondering why like people like Hydron or like other players are missing or why people are here and some other stuff. I made this 3 weeks ago, so things have changed since then, obviously. So there are a few
Also, I
candidates
mean,
that could
Hydra,
have
but
been.
I mean, even still, like they're still playing mostly speedily on Tracer over
Yeah,
Hydra.
yeah.
Like,
So
they've been trying
I-
to play Hydron to play like Sombra and like hit scan for them. You know?
Yeah. So I think it's an all-out risk. The second thing we have to do before it's official, some people on the internet, they really care about the order within the tiers. So are there any quick changes you want to make within the orders?
All right, proper goes to the left of Kevstar, in my opinion.
The left of Kevster.
I
And
think
then
Stalker goes over Leave
where
almost.
Leave is.
Yeah.
And that's how I would leave it right
I
now.
think that's kind of revisionist for Leave's history overall as a player, though. I don't think Stalker has the pedigree in Overwatch League to put him above Leave yet on Tracer.
But if they battled
if you have to take a Tracer right now, Leave or Stalker, you have a Tracer player. I would play Stalker. Like right now, I would absolutely play Stalker over Leave.
I think also, but I also think that Stalker is playing in a way better system currently than Sparker. Clearly dysfunctional. Like it's just like you're not gonna get the max.
He's a system tracer.
Well, no, it's like you get more value. Your DPS players are going to look better as well when your whole team is more on the same page, right? Your dives are better, your macro is better, your ults are better. Like you're giving them better value with the healing. Like I don't know, you're setting them up better. Like I don't know, I just think Leave's like one MVP on a team that didn't even do like they did well, but not that well.
Yeah, but what was it? When did he win MVP? 2021? Like that was 2 years ago, right? Like Stalker wasn't even in the league at that point. Like I'm taking like as much as I credit Lee for being great in the past, this isn't a 2021 tier list. This is a 2023 tier list.
I don't care too much about the order. Can we agree to this? Can we just settle here?
I think they're equivalent. I'll give you that.
All right, A tier, Alpha E to the most left, followed by Decay maybe.
I'd kind of want to put Zest higher. I feel like Zest has like Zest is way better.
Okay,
than
but why would we put? So here's my question: is like I guess actually to be fair, I do kind of agree. I think Zest consistently, if we include his both Vision Apex, he's had some better years than Alfie. So Zest should probably be above Alfie. I think that's fair. I think
I'd put Decay up a little bit, honestly.
I don't think I would. I think I would probably honestly my list would go Zest, Alfie, Chosewan, Pelican, Decay right now.
Whoa. There is some Decay slander coming out.
I think Decay slander coming in.
There's some Decay hate right there.
Decay is like I'm gonna just say it. I think Decay is like one of the main reasons Boston are still like afloat.
Sure,
right now.
yeah, he's doing great. Like he is doing great overall. I mean, here's what if we swap
Over
Pelican
Chosewan,
Decay?
in my opinion.
What if we swap Pelican to Decay? I don't know. Chosewan's fucking pounding.
Over Chosewan,
I
in my
would
opinion.
take Decay over Pelican.
I agree. I think Pelican could prove us wrong. This could be an absolute like protagonist arc for him.
I could live with that.
Yeah.
I could live with that.
Let's live with it.
Yeah.
I could live with that.
You know what really bothers me is that Pelican is above Yaki on this list, kind of. It bothers
I
me
know,
a little
it's
bit.
fucking madness. It's fucking crazy. Yaki should not be below Pelican. Yaki should not be below like a lot of those. He should be on the same tier.
I think we're living in the 2020 zone of Yaki and the was it 2021 zone of Yaki, bro?
There's
like
no way.
man doesn't even play Tracer. We're omitting most players who don't play primarily Tracer.
We're taking
Leave on this fucking list.
We're killing Leave because that was 2 years ago. We're killing Yaki because that was 2 years ago. We're killing everyone.
Yeah, because it was 2 years ago. Games changed.
But they're still good now.
Let's put Effect on this list. I think Effect should be an S tier. You know, he was a great Tracer player.
That's not equivalent.
What do you mean? If we're just not omitting years, like, come on, what are we doing?
But the thing is, they're still good. They're still pounding. They're still doing really well. They're still doing really, really well. They continue to do well on good teams on the top of their rosters.
I think Pelican and Decay are getting massive disrespect. I think those guys have more impact in the server than Yaki does on Tracer.
Well, the list is good for that right
But
now.
I think you guys are trying to change the list.
I also think Decay gets disproportionately highlighted because Boston are kind of dysfunctional at times without him. Like, Decay has to do more heavy lifting for Boston, the server, because Boston sometimes does some weird floppy shit, you know? Like, they just fall over occasionally. Like, while Yaki is working in a Glad system that they're looking really good right now, like, he doesn't have to carry all the weight. Now, Sparker also just
he doesn't have to play Tracer.
But he does play Tracer for them. Okay, he has played Tracer for them. And he's looked good on it.
Occasionally,
and he's looked really good on it. So
that's true.
The point, if the K's only been on Tracer, and like they need him to function because the team sometimes. So I'm just saying, I think we're like taking some disproportionate like magnifying effects of the team they're playing in and applying it to their overall skill. I think Young should be in the A tier. I think he's been doing it. He's been pounding for a long time now. But
Jack, do you want Yaki in A tier? Because Johnny seems to be convinced.
No, Yaki B tier.
Okay. Yaki B tier.
Put him on the left side.
End of B.
Yeah,
he should at least be on the end of B. He should at least be on the end of B.
Rank
Thank
1B.
you.
All right, there you go.
All right.
Thank you.
And then Checkmate Viper. I think that's good.
Yeah, and then Sparkle in front of Sugar Free,
Yeah, I'd take that.
and he's saying in front of Speed.
Yeah. All right. There we go.
That's good.
So, there you go. 2023. Wait, I got one more question.
Yo, I gotta
actually.
log out of Twitter real quick. 1 second.
I got one more question. If we're only talking, it seems like we narrowed down the conversations to right now, 2023. Is Prophet still S tier?
Okay, this is an interesting conversation because I think you can absolutely say no. With that said, Prophet was sick in their first game against Soul Infernal. Like, he was one of the reasons that they won that series. And because I was a big Prophet doubter heading into this season of, like, I don't think his passion's there. I don't think his drive's there. And, you know, you can say that's kind of paying off, you know, dividends right now. You don't know what's going on with his life. But Prophet did play exceptionally well at the beginning of the season. I just think the team around him is quite poor right now.
He still belongs there. He's still an S tier tracer. I think it would be slander to put him lower. He's the GOAT, bro. Like, no shot.
Right. I mean, he definitely still earned it. Like, maybe if he had showed up and not showed up, maybe if he hadn't showed up for parts of this year, but he had shown up and still looked really, really good. So
okay, there you have it. The 2023 Overwatch League top tracer rankings as it is right now. Missing a few players that didn't make the list, but there you go. We did it, guys. And now we suffer the consequences of the segment, but it's okay. It's all just words on the internet. Don't worry, Custa. I'm
really excited for Sparkle moving up the list of tracer tier lists over these years. You know, went from D to C. You know, congratulations, buddy.
Yeah. Someone wants us to add Dub. Well, he goes in D tier. There you go.
I mean, yeah, he'll be in D tier. So there you go.
Have fun. We did it, guys. I'm really excited we did this. Maybe we'll rank more heroes, rank more roles moving forward. Yeah, that's a lot of fun, guys. So let's talk about the Overwatch League week behind us. I'm not gonna lie, guys. There is not a ton of meat on the bone here. I went back to look at the matches, and there was not a single 3-2 match in the West region. It was all 3-0s and 3-1s.
Yeah, but there was a couple. There was a couple of the close 3-1s though. The 3-1s were really close.
Yeah, I mean, like Toronto, Boston was pretty fun.
I mean, Valiant Shock was so close to being a Mat 5 at times.
I don't know what your co-stream experience was like. Were you freaking out about the Valiant?
Well, also, I was freaking out because Vegas multiple times in the 3-0 versus Glads were so close to getting a map and beefed it. So close and then beefed it versus Glads. Like, also, I think the Glads 3-1 versus Titans, the Titans one was an insane 3-1 too.
That's because I think Titans are good. I think that's a storyline heading forward. Is like, I think Vancouver Titans are like proving to be like, they're not the top tier. Like, I think they're gonna consistently lose to your Glads, your Atlantas, your Houstons. But I think they are really that gatekeeper team. I think for this year, or they're not in the top tier, but they're gonna stop everyone else from like sort of getting past that. You know, the teams like Boston and stuff.
Yeah, I think they're a great dark horse. Like, they're just the perfect dark horse that could upset any like great team and maybe go on a run at some point, because they do have the individual skill required. So where do you guys want to start? Obviously, there were some really good matches in the East region, but if we want to pick one match in particular, do we perhaps want to start with Boston versus Toronto then? Because it was fairly close, and it was one of the matches where we had some, back and forth. Some people picked Toronto, some people picked Boston going into this series. And really, a pretty concerning series if you're a Toronto fan, I think, because you expect Toronto to come out in this series and look pretty competitive, and this is a team you kind of had to beat if you were Toronto. But now instead, Toronto, with their current record, they are 2-4 with 2 more matches to go. How convinced were you with Boston's performance in this one? Just leaning heavily into like Sombra Tracer and Winston matchups.
Birdring looked a lot better. I think it looked a lot. I think overall Birdring Sombra was, because that's something that's been the big bane of team's existence. Have been also. I'm putting my official. This is not even. I'm not trolling. My official. One of my other official matches of the week, just because it seems like there's theoretically hopium, is the Vegas match. Was the Vegas versus Glads match. And like, no, that is not a troll. But for this match, for the Boston one, I think the big thing is that like teams have been struggling to put their hit scan players onto Sombra, right? Or like have them like learn to play Sombra, get value out of Sombra consistently, and like have that ability where you can still also have a tracer player or someone that's like flexing, or like your tracer player can play Sombra and then flex. But like Boston, I think Birdring Sombra is looking a lot better. Like a lot better. And I think this is like the big thing for them, is that like they needed the ability to play Sombra. I still think though that they get the most amount of value for Birdwing by far when he's not on Sombra, which is one of the biggest problem for Boston is that like their dives sometimes look clean, but a lot of times like if they're outside of like if they're on the Sombra trying to set it up, like Birdwing still gets way more value being off of it and being on like a hard hit scan like Hanzo or Sojourn or something. And that's like pretty consistent problem with a lot of teams. It's not even a Boston only problem by any means. So I don't know. I think Boston they still have like general like their macro at times. Sometimes like this point, I think it was like this particular round or one of the rounds, they gave up so much. I think it was this match. Maybe I can't remember which one, where like they just gave up so much time on a point for free. Like they just wouldn't cap overall. Like I don't think it was, can't remember if it was Sanctum or not, or if it was this or it was Village here. But I might be totally misremembering because I saw so many matches. But I think Boston still has a problem of like macro and like keeping point and like controlling point. Like they just pretty much objective based gameplay.
There is a lot of times as well where I feel like Smurf's left out to dry. I feel like I see him a lot more this season just being somewhere that he shouldn't be, or like somewhere that he needs to be, but there's no backup, there's no heals, maybe the healers are LOS. Like it does feel like they're not on the same page all the time. Like I don't know, Smurf just stands out to me specifically. Biggest fucking hitbox, so you can just shoot him, but it feels like he himself is left on an island sometimes, and I don't think that's like anybody's specific fault. I think it's just like a team coordination thing more than anything else.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I just think they just need to get value more. They just need to clean up if they clean up their game and get more value from the Sombra.
Yeah, they feel a bit one-dimensional, but also it feels like we're moving more in this direction when it comes to the meta. And overall, like considering that they're playing without this Ayaki as well, they can just really lean into the Twilight Ana. Need to go on Brigitte here on this round, but it feels like a path moving forward. So when we're looking at Boston Uprising moving forward, then they're 5-1 currently. They have 2 more matches against Atlanta this week, which is going to be a banger. And they're also playing the San Francisco Shock. At this point, do you consider them on par with the likes of Gladiators and such, Custa? Do you really think that Boston is in that like upper tier below Houston and Atlanta?
No, I think that their strategies, maybe with Birdwing Sombra looking better, as Avast said, they can start to match some of these teams, and I think they are playing like what I think the meta should be. But I feel like a lot of the teams that they beat is just because their mechanics are better. I don't think they're winning, macro style. They're not winning with like just better strategy. So I think they're always going to lose to the Gladiators and like those top end teams. Like they lost to Vancouver Titans, right? And that's the team that I think is that gatekeeper for that top end. So I don't see Boston getting over that if they're going to lose to a team like the Vancouver Titans 3-0. So maybe like this is a team that has wide swings of variance of like, I think on any given day they can potentially compete with those teams, but they haven't shown the ability to do that this season just yet.
All right, moving on then. Avast match of the week, the Valiant versus the Shock. It was a pretty entertaining series because the Valiant, they lost the first control map and Valiant were up 1-0 and it felt like it was all going to crumble, and then Prophet comes out and plays the Genji and just carries the Shock over the finish line. But Avast, give me the play-by-play.
There was a lot of things that you said in that opening statement that did not line up. One, like Custa said, Proper played the Genji, not Prophet. Two, I think Valiant won control.
Profit?
Yeah, you also said Valiant lost control and Valiant won the control.
Wait, no, are you trolling? I clearly said that Valiant won the first map.
Yeah, but then you said they lost the control.
What? Am I off the goop?
I think you might have been off the goop a little bit. Maybe I'm trolling you. Maybe I'm trolling you with what I heard, but maybe that you didn't say. Either way, I think it was great because here's my one. This is literally my one thing. You know how we said how players can win MVP when not being on the best team? I'm getting close to dropping the Seeker MVP. Yeah, I'm getting close to dropping the Seeker MVP for this team. This guy is doing more than I've ever seen a player try to do in the server at times, outside of like, peak Proper moments or like peak lead moments, for like Chengdu back in the day. And they just can't win. They just can't do more when Seeker, like it's nuts. So this is the map I was misremembering with the Boston match. It was this one because Shock on Control just gave up so much free cap on Sanctum in particular. But they just beefed so many points on Control, which to be fair, Shock, they haven't been good at Control for a bit, but like it's Shock's point play still here. Like some of their macro is just abysmal with like how they're contesting objectives and playing it. But like after that, yeah, they looked a lot better. They just kind of ran them over. It was fine. But like, god damn, like Seeker like is so good. And also I have been impressed like when Valiant sometimes pull out this comp. Like, you know, I still think there's something there. Overall though, like it was more so a shock. The shock just kind of like continued to look rough. But I do think that Seeker is like that boy needs to be saved and put on a much better team. Like they're like I think Seeker could do some nasty things on other squads. So
I agree. But this was the proper show. Like, it really, like, I know people hate it when it just feels like we're degrading proper the whole time. But, like, straight up, if you watch this series, there's nothing more to say about the shock other than they look pretty bad in the Ramatra mirror. Then proper playing Tracer, and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go Genji. And then, like, what was the second map that they played?
Blizzard World, wasn't
Blizzard
it?
World, where they were going to get full held. Genji, and then he just switched Genji.
Yeah,
they beat it so. Oh my god, Valiant should have won that, and they just went off a point to fight forward, and they just all died, got individually picked. Like I just couldn't believe like it's. And then also the Max Junbin shit is still a mystery.
It's heinous,
still a mystery. Like literally, and like we brought up the Max. I think it's like Johnny, you might have done it. It's like or maybe even Scott too, but like the Max win rate comparatively to Junbin.
I looked up the map records and I was shocked.
And like, but
no pun intended.
I still need to know like, because also I don't know like when they're playing Max a lot of times it feels like he just ends up playing like he played, but previously to this match he was playing like a lot of like he was playing a lot of essentially like a weird like Winston-y, like this, like that Sombra May comp at times too that they pull out. That's like really not good, that I don't enjoy. So like I wish I had the actual all the numbers to be like what comps were Max playing in comparatively to Junbin and what maps, because I don't actually know like the full database, right? Because it's like, because I feel like sometimes just putting like they won maps with this person, lost maps with this person, it's a little reductionist, right? I need to know like what were the comps, like what were the maps type of thing, and I can't remember all of what they did.
In this series in particular, Max came out and played the first map, and they played this Ramatra kind of thing. But instead of playing Batiste, that Valiant did with the Sojourn, they played the Kiriko. So
it's
you know,
not good.
Yeah, it's and they
no
played.
heals.
They played Sombra instead of Sojourn, I think, as well.
And they had May. They had May too. Like they played like that May Sombra comp with him, and it was bad because there's no heals, there's no damage. Like there's just like you're just hoping you find an isolation pick on that comp, and they just couldn't find it ever.
Yeah, they were playing so slow, and like their engagements were crap, and they were not like trying to secure kills with the Sombra and Kiriko, and it just looked so static, like no engagements whatsoever. So like that doesn't necessarily fall all on Max, right? Because there's a compositional flaw, but like also the play style is not quite there for that composition. How much is that like Max shot calling versus Junbin's kind of like playmaking and stuff like that? I just feel like the easy answer, and I said this before I even like shine a light on the map win rate. I just feel like you should default to Junbin as much as possible, and sometimes sub in Max if you need to when it comes to the maps. And I really do think that they're kind of cooking with this Heesang on Sombra stuff, and then Prophet can proper can play Genji or Tracer, like depending on what you're playing against. But I just feel like they could streamline their compositions like a lot more.
I think as well as like one of their big issues is how poorly the backline is playing. Like Vindheim is just playing a different game. It feels like sometimes he just like walks out into the open and gets hit by a bus because he's like on his own and stuff like that. And he gets picked first a lot. Like that's just an issue. I think Finn isn't really playing to the expectation that we have from him as well. Maybe that's a result of Vindheim kind of like, Vindheim and Finn just playing disconnected to each other. And then on top of that, disconnected from each other and disconnected from the rest of the team. And it's actually such an exploitable piece for the Shock that seems to be like really hurting them. So I don't know what's going on at the Shock. We all know how great these players have been in previous teams, but what they're showing right now is like there's a lot of other players that would play a lot better than the guys on this team.
I don't know if you noticed this trend, but there were a couple of times in that Valiant series where like Vindheim got picked and he was like on his way somewhere, like he was in a bad position and then like tried to like, oh, I need to be over there, and like he tried to slide over there and he just got picked in the middle. I was like, what? Like that was so weird. You're just like wall riding in the middle of the fight. Like
there's a Blizzard world where I remember like, because we were looking at, I think it's from Seeker's Pop on the high ground, and you see him like look to the left on like when you're sitting on the high ground, back high ground, and you know they can come from the left or the right. You see all the tanks on the right and his entire team on the right, and then he just looks left and Vindheim's just there and he just like dies. And I'm like, why is he on the left side? That makes no sense why he would ever be over there. It was like, it's just egregious. And that happens time and time again. Like,
yeah, it was, where was Vindheim? What is he
Yeah,
doing?
we're in the
Like
world
that
of
was
that.
the joke that whole series. It was so weird.
Yeah.
What is he cooking? All right. Any other team you want to discuss quickly in the West before we move on to the East? London lost another 2 matches.
Vegas.
All right. Okay.
Vegas.
Why are we spending so much time on Valiant Vegas? All right. Go on.
No, legitimately, Vegas almost won maps versus Glads. Like there was almost 2. That could have been like a 3-2 scenario.
Oh,
Could have
come
been a 3-2.
on. Who cares?
No, they did. They beefed it so hard. Vegas actually had something going. They actually had something going. This team, there was legitimately, if they play like that, they could actually win a match this year.
Just play Dove Tracer, play Mouthful and Hanzo, you win a couple of matches.
They could win.
You're
They
probably
could
not
win a
gonna
match.
Series, but
They could win a match.
I don't agree with that.
I think they could win a match. I think they could win one match this year theoretically if they play like that. Like
they might be able to. Like I think if they play like they did against the Gladiators, against like the Valiant, or against like I don't know another bottom tier team, like they could, right? Like they could win. But as Johnny said. We'll see when it happens. You know,
I'm just saying. I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, "Holy fuck, Glads are about to lose maps to Vegas." It was close as hell. It was real close. But that's it. That's all I got.
Given how Vegas are performing, though, I don't think they'll stand a chance against Atlanta Reign this week.
No,
but
no.
They are playing Toronto Defiant, which.
Oh man.
I'm telling you, if they play like they did with Glads, they could take maps. They could take multiple maps from Defiant. I mean, if they play like they did versus Glads, they could make that scary. I won't pred them. But I won't pred them. But like they could make. That's not a big game. Just saying they could make it scary. It's not a big game. Like it was close. They had some moments, but yeah, I don't believe them. I don't believe in them for sure.
All right. We got to move on here, but another team that I think we'll discuss next week is London Spitfire. They are currently 1-5. And they have 2 more matches against the Gladiators and Toronto Defiant this week. And they need to win a match because otherwise they won't even qualify for the knockouts. And the bottom 3 will be Vegas, Valiant, and London Spitfire will miss out with a 1-7 record. So pressure's on London. They're 1-5. They might even need to win. I don't know what the tiebreaker is if they beat Toronto and they're tied, but that's going to be messy with London. So not looking good for London. I do want to discuss them at a later date. But yeah, for the Western region, I think we're fine with that. No teams that really stand out. In the Eastern region, though, we have to say goodbye to the Shanghai Dragons, who
they're not out yet, are they?
No, they're not out. They're playing O2 Blast. But they did lose to Sinprisa Gaming this past week.
No, they are out. You're right. They did lose to O2, actually. Oh, no, this is my Preds.
No, they're playing O2 Blast. Sorry, yeah. They are playing... I lost it. They're playing O2 Blast for a chance. Goodbye. I'm saying it prematurely. Goodbye to Shanghai Dragons.
O2 are too good.
Yeah. O2 played close to Soul Infernal, and like Shanghai don't hold a candle to Soul Infernal. So like...
Yeah. Avro was very quick to determine that his match of the week. I asked the guys, like, what was your match of the week? And Avro was like, that was what O2 versus Soul Inferno for good reason.
It was a nasty match. It was a really nasty match, to be fair, because it brought pretty much it felt chaotic as fuck. But at the same time, it's like I thought it was great. Overwatch, it was high level, but at the same time, like I just can't help but feeling that like this is Dragons. Dragons are just still not that complete of a team. And yes, O2 is a good team, but they're still a contenders roster. And like people are kind of reiterating the same mistakes. You know what it feels like to me? It's like people like, wow, this O2 Blast would be better than half the teams in the Overwatch League. Well, guess who's in the fucking Overwatch League right now? Essentially O2 Blast for the Shock. And they're not doing that hot still at times. Now, like, obviously it's not like a full O2 Blast situation because Shock has Vindime and Finn and such. But Finn came for fucking O2 Blast. Like, you know, it's like at the same time, like, I don't know. I just think that like...
But Shanghai lost to SPG. How do you defend that?
Yeah, I mean, why? I mean, I think that's just once again Shanghai's just. I don't think Shanghai's very good. I don't think Shanghai's very good. Yeah, I think Shanghai's pretty bad. That's the point. The point I'm trying to say is like I think Shanghai's not very good, and people are like, it was a good match, great match of Overwatch to watch. It just wanted to really just put as like perfect, like amazing high level Overwatch gameplay because Shanghai is not very good, and O2 is still a contenders team. You know, like so that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, what do you? I don't know if now is the time to have this conversation because we gotta be brief here. Yeah, let's save that conversation for another day. Anyway, Dallas Fuel versus Soul Inferno. We're talking a bit more about that later, but could be a pretty decent matchup, even though Soul are favored, playing a lot of really good Winston Wrecking Ball these days.
Mm-hmm.
I think Solar's just favored until Dallas proves that they can beat someone good.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, Fuel kind of has to prove that they can beat a good team right now. Infernal, Charge, and Spark, but especially Infernal and Charge are kind of like, those are the big boys, really.
Yeah. It's going to be fun to follow this bracket though, because O2 Blast probably would inevitably play Dallas and Seoul again to qualify out of this group, and there's only one place for group. So, taking a look at the Group A bracket, we got the Chows battling it out later in the week. Guangzhou Charge. The Joes. Sorry.
The Chows.
I am hungover. I'm sorry, guys. I am just cooked. I am cooked this morning. I'm sorry, guys. And I'm Swedish. I blame it on being Swedish and drunk or hungover. Guangzhou Charge, they beat the Poker Face 3-1, and Hangzhou beat Seoul Dynasty 3-1. So we're up for a Zhou, Battle of the Zhous. And meanwhile, Seoul Dynasty with a pretty nice win.
Well, no, they lost.
They lost, bro, against Spark.
Oh, I was looking at the roads. The roads matchup.
Yeah.
Does anyone have more context on the Prophet thing? I've sort of like seen bits and pieces, and I've like sort of read, the bit. So is he just not playing for the rest of the tournament for this mid-season series?
As far as I understand, he's taking a break, at least until the end, until after mid-season. Yes, that's how I understood it. Because I talked to Swing Chip as well, because Swing Chip obviously she has more insight into the Korean stuff and like can translate all that stuff. That's what it sounds like. That's so. After mid-season.
That's gonna be hard. I heard his replacement actually played quite well. I actually haven't watched that.
He played against Rhodes, and I thought Rhodes was gonna beat Dynasty.
Yeah.
And he actually kind of his guy that played for him. What his name is like fucking. Forgot. It starts with an S. It's
Sunjun?
like Sunjun. Yeah, Sunjun. He actually plowed during this series, but also Rhodes looked really like Sunjun actually looked like give like a profit level performance of like carrying, but Rhodes also looked really, really bad in the match compared to what they showed in some of the earlier stuff in the qualifiers. Because like I thought Rhodes is going to be like the next Chengdu, essentially. It's filled with a bunch of really good Chinese talent. Like they had like a Prita, they have I think Pineapple. They have like they have like a bunch of like good Chinese talent that was like essentially like Chengdu light in a way. But they just didn't. They were chaotic even in the qualifiers, but they just did not have anything good going on. And such a bunch of players were absent, so were invisible. So, but yeah, he played really well. His replacement Sunjun went really well. There's also a chance that theoretically, Dynasty without Profit could theoretically function better in a way, because it could be like a cultural reset of like maybe the team is too dependent on him. Maybe they need like to take a step back and reevaluate, because like also there's this real chance that Profit could just be like lay Profit, like lay GM Profit of like he calls all the shots on the team and like the team, because think about it, his head coach is Toby, it's his old friend that he played with. Like there's a real chance that like the whole org could just work around Profit's will, and maybe they need a cultural reset. So
yeah, I think they lose their peak of where they can really end up. Of like with Profit, I feel like player Profit always can take teams to the promised land, but I think they might be a more well-rounded team and consistent team with Profit out. I agree.
Yeah. We're barreling towards, I think, a matchup between Seoul and Poker Face in the lower bracket.
Which will be a good game. Poker Face is pretty nasty. Yeah. They're looking pretty solid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, I disrespected the players like Muse and Valentine after their stint in the league last year. So good to see them at least put up a good fight. Okay, moving on then. It's power rankings time, I believe. Ooh. It's power rankings time. So we can quickly skim through NA and APAC. I don't think too much change here, Avast, right? You are the one who does the power rankings right after the broadcast. I don't think
pretty
too
much
changed,
everything stayed the same, except I ended up putting London a bit higher, maybe. What did I even do? Let me see. Let me find.
Are you sure about that?
I don't think I would move.
I can't remember. No, I can't remember what
list.
I did. Let me tell you what I did. Oh, yeah. So NA stayed exactly the same. Pretty much. Yeah. It's just East, I moved Dynasty up, and I moved Dynasty up and Dragons down, pretty much.
That's very fair.
Actually, can we go back to the other one? I would like to make Vegas into 13th. Give them a promotion.
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah, I think they can kind of do
Vegas
it.
Going 13th is a completely fair thing.
I think the difference isn't as bad.
Yeah, they're still like clearly the worst, but like there's a shot they could. There's a shot if they play like Denver's Glads that maybe they could win a match.
Do we want to keep the tier break?
No, I think the tier break should stay for the time being. Tier break should still stay, but they should just
Solomon
get
is
13.
desperately trying to make this graphic work.
They should just be 13.
Yeah,
I think it's fair.
So
But that's pretty much it. I moved Dynasty
Vegas.
up.
Really
That
proud of
was
you
it.
guys.
That's all I did. Dynasty moved up above Dragons because Dragons look poo, and Dynasty are looking like they're looking better than poo.
Yeah. We got some interesting matchups, so I think we'll do some change up next week. Okay. APAC?
I don't think we need to move anything.
I'm pretty happy with all of this.
Yeah, I'm kind of happy with everything.
Wow,
Yeah.
look at us. Look at us, huh?
I know. Who would have thought?
Yeah, who'd have thought? Look at us.
Good bread.
So consistent with our power rankings. There you go.
Oh,
We've saved some
bread
time there as
power
well. All right. So let's move on to the week 5 predictions, because there's actually quite a lot of good matches here, like even teams that'll play each other. We got some statistics. I think Solomon has got us some statistics. I don't know.
Solomon's
Do they
he's
show
been the GOAT.
visually, or do I need to read them off? Oh, Preds with guarantees, 12 out of 16. So we're 8-4 in guarantees.
Ooh, not good.
Any
my
50-50
God.
years? Any
Oh
50-50 years? See, but
so-
okay, but
Wait, how
this,
do I
you're.
have 16 compared to you guys?
Oh, I wasn't
Yeah,
on the
I
last
don't-
episode.
I missed an episode too, yeah.
I
So-
wasn't on the last episode, so like
Wrecked
I think,
idiots.
yeah, it's just I think the last episode. Okay, last episode's Preds. I don't know what we did, but I'm sure there were some insane freebies considering the games that happened this week.
Yeah.
I bet there was
There
some
was that-
insane
right?
freebies.
You know,
There
I
was
don't think
that
it
week
matters.
I missed, and you had like 4 guarantees wrong or something like that, and I missed that week, so I didn't get to take those losses with you.
That's
It
the
was
one
like
I
when-
hosted, yeah.
When like Seoul beat Hangzhou and something like
Oh,
this.
yeah, that was...
Oh, there we go.
shit,
Oh
yeah.
my.
God damn it, Florida.
Florida did boom me
Yeah.
a bit. Florida boomed me a bit for these glads and wait, they
Johnny missed out on the APAC shit show
I
as
did.
well. Like, look at
I
that
did.
dodge.
Oh,
That-
this is from week 2. Okay, yeah, Florida boomed me week 2 because that glads match, and also they lost to Toronto. Florida lost to Toronto. What the fuck? I don't even know if that's true.
Hide the spreadsheet.
Because
No, they beat
Florida
Toronto
are
3-0.
5-1. Am I going crazy here?
I feel like Solomon is trying to make a point, and we're not
Wow.
getting it. This is not good. Wait, no is the topic bar.
Like Florida are 5-1. Yeah, I think he beat my. I'm 7-5. I'm 7-5. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No,
So-
Yeah,
okay.
I was
Nah,
about to
moving
say.
along. I don't think it matters that much.
Yeah, it does matter. It does matter. Look at that percentage now. Look at that percentage. That's good.
there was a typo, yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Wow,
Well-
Johnny's at 80%.
So yeah, that
Oh, well, I look way worse now with that one change. I feel like 8-2 looks way better than 11-5.
there you go. So yeah, win rate. I guess I'm in the lead. Yeah, feels good, man. Feels good, man. And we'll see. We gotta keep up our guarantees now. Because we'll show it later. Houston Outlaws lost. I can't speak. Houston Outlaws
Houston
versus Florida
Outlaws.
Mayhem. Who do we got, guys?
Alcohol
I
still
think this
hitting
is
him
It
hard.
has to be, yeah.
Yeah.
I like Florida actually have looked like they're struggling just to. Oh god.
We did it. A new segment that we stole.
Yeah.
New segment just
Hey,
right.
it started here.
It's
We're
our
stealing it
podcast.
back.
It is
Yeah.
our
Was the
podcast,
OG
to be fair.
Wasn't it the OG on fucking Overwatch Plat Chat anyway?
Oh god.
I don't know if it was. I can't
I don't
remember.
know, actually.
Yeah,
Either
Florida
way,
been
I mean,
struggling. Houston,
Regardless, we share the brand.
I mean, also Outlaws they're looking far and away like
No,
one of the
they're
like Florida,
crazy.
like they're 5-1, but like they still like they have things to iron out still. While Outlaws across the board, they're looking really, really good. I mean, also their back line just digs them out of so many holes.
them being able to switch to Zenyatta on the fly, I think might be a determining factor of Houston being incredibly successful, because feels like we're just starting to see teams experiment with it a little bit, especially if a team's going to play Diva versus you. You just play Zen, you kind of just fucking own. Like, I think a lot more teams are going to start doing that, and it's going to be pioneered by Houston.
I feel like let me pitch you this. Is Violet an MVP candidate?
Right this second.
He's
I mean, I guess the
arguably
question
the
is
best main support in the league right now.
I would say he's the best support player so far this year. I'd probably give you that. I think his flexibility has made him like incredibly valuable, but I think I would still go for like Lip as MVP if I was
valuable. Yeah, Lip is probably.
Well, would you argue? I guess the question becomes of like, where do you put Violet's? Like, yes, Violet insanely flexible, plays main support really, really well. Where would you necessarily? But then also, are you discounting how impactful Shu is for this team and the value they've been getting on a meta?
It's subjective, right? It's person.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just saying, like, why Violet over Shu if you're looking for an MVP from the backline?
Just because of Violet's versatility and that he's really good on so many different support heroes and add something that very few players in the league can do. You know, I just pitched it as a question. You know, like
I think it's an interesting
talk show-ish.
I think it's a really. I mean, honestly, because I think both of the Outlaws support players could be batting for an MVP.
Fearless could also be an MVP candidate right now
too. Yeah, wow.
Like they have some very like they're by far for me though their backline is like honestly like they have a great team across the board. It's really, really good, but like their backline is to me the best part of it. Yep. So it's nasty as hell. It's a nasty as hell backline. But I can't really come to a conclusion yet. I don't know if I can definitively say yet.
All right. It's interesting nevertheless. All right. Moving on to the next one. We got Toronto Defiant taking on all the Spitfire. I hinted at this one earlier. We got two teams that are pretty much underperforming. And I think we're leaning one way. But a guarantee! Yay! Okay.
Oh, I didn't go with it. Jack
I thought I got my thumb was
in there.
But yeah, I do think this one is interesting. What is happening with London? Like they
tried to play Reinhardt. Turns out you can't just force Reinhardt.
But I mean, they got the thing is
Ram punches through his fucking shield.
Yeah.
What
happened there? Knocking out his fucking headset.
I can't hear shit. Wait. My headset, my cans.
My cans.
But I think I'm actually there's a world in which London just keeps going down and with this Reinhardt ship, and it works way better against Toronto than it did against against Houston. They tried to play Reinhardt, and they got fucking rolled.
I mean, they just rolls Ryan. Like that's it.
I don't think it hard rolls. It does on certain points, but I think on control you can make it work. But I think the problem that they had was less so on control and was more when they had to play they played Reinhardt on like Junkertown and they just got fucking owned. Like it wasn't
I mean,
close.
I mean, also they just they're like it's like you're gonna have also maps where Winston's gonna dominate the Rhein comp too, like for you. So
I just feel like you have to be significantly better than the other team to force this.
Also, they can't play. They're so limited in their flexibility because they can't play Sombra without Backbone.
Yeah.
Yes.
They can't play Sombra without
Backbone. Sombra has not been pretty this year.
So but that's the thing. And then also if they don't have Backbone in, they can't play Sombra. But he's also their best Mei player. So they can't. Yeah. So they have to have Backbone in to play like the Ryan comp. But then if they don't have Backbone in, they probably can't play Tracer necessarily if they want to have Sparker. So it's like their team is a mess, and they got. Like a lot of stuff went well for them last year. They did a lot of good things right, but there was a lot of ability to force that Ryan comp a lot for them, and they could bust up the dive occasionally, but a lot of chance to force the strengths. They don't have that chance to force the strengths this year, and all the teams leveled up, and it's hurting them a lot. Now, if Defiant lose this match, it's Jover. I'm calling it. It's Jover.
Oh yeah.
It's Jover. It's so.
In the bin.
It's so Jover. It's actually so Jover if Defiant loses. Your OAM is fucking cursed. Toronto Defiant as a franchise is cursed if they lose to London here. So. That's all I got.
Okay, moving on to the next one. We got the San Francisco Shock taking on the Florida Mayhem.
Is anybody gonna do it?
No. It's a guarantee.
No. Okay, mine was not my thumbs, but
There's a bit of a delay, so I think you have to do it 2 seconds
that makes
before
it
the thing goes off.
Funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Florida Mayhem is looking like the stronger team right now, but, Shock, they're hovering.
No, I've had enough of this shit. I've had enough of this San Francisco Shock is hovering stuff. I feel like we're giving them too much cope. Can you, have you seen the San Francisco Shock fans lately have been it's because they're stuck in apartments. They're stuck on campus.
Actually, they're in dorms. They're in dorms now.
They're in dorms. They're in fucking. Who cares? Teams have had bad living situations in the past. They're supposed to be able to overcome these things. Yeah, it's not ideal, but that doesn't mean they should be as bad as they are. That's not that. Yeah, sure. Maybe that has some factor, but maybe we just need to accept that Shock aren't as good as we thought they were going to be.
I
think they're
kind of
definitely
dig it.
affected.
I kind of dig it, Scott, because that means that we have an excuse for Apex 2016 and 2017, where all the
Yeah, I
players
played out
from
of
the
a hotel.
Western teams lived in hotels.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I got a mega boomed by Kongdu Panthera and
Yeah.
LW Blue or something like that. It's because we were stuck
So
in things.
true.
It's not my fault. We could have won Apex, Johnny, if we weren't stuck in hotels.
Yeah, maybe Misfits would have gotten out of a group of LW Blue and Lunatic High if it wasn't for the fact that we lived
We were
in a
in
Korean
hotels.
hotel
Yeah,
for 2 or 3
damn,
months with no included breakfast. So we had to walk over to Subway every morning for
Yeah, it
breakfast.
was awful. Me and Johnny would pass each other every morning, just like, hey, buddy.
And then we walked to Subway for lunch too, and then for dinner we'd be like, I guess we're going to Burger King instead. So that was
You
a fun
guys didn't
experience.
attempt to
Of all
eat a
the
single
food in
Korean
Korea.
No,
meal
we
in
did eat
Korea.
out. We ate other food.
Let me tell you, Josh. Let me tell you how fun it is to go there as a foreigner with no translator and no manager, to just go out as a foreign player in Korea and just like, let's sit down at a restaurant with no money, meal paid for us, and no translator and no help with the menus. And then we're gonna
Alright,
go back to the
okay.
practice room and we have to play ranked and we have to go over replays. It's not as convenient as people think. Just like walking around Korea and just like, we're going to experience this delicious
with less-
cuisine in this business district. There is nothing going on in this business district. There's just Borpa business and hotels and no included
And that's
meals.
what the players are probably dealing with. Is they're stuck in a place like all these players are foreigners. They're Koreans who aren't integrated, especially some of these guys. They're like 17, 18 years old. They've always lived in Korea. They're now in a country which they don't speak the language. Like that is hard. And I give them that like dues, and it sucks that Shock aren't giving them the support that they usually get. But there are a lot of teams that have dealt with this issue in the past. Like I don't feel like we can only use like Shock as like Shock's the only person who's ever had to deal with this, or team that's had
Also,
to
we
deal
don't
with
know what they're like by level of support. Like, I do agree it does affect their performance 100%, but like, they have accommodations, they have a place to play. We don't know what the manager's doing for them. Like, is the manager still making sure they're able to get meals? Are they still able to like making sure that they're getting food consistently, like type of stuff? Like, obviously, there's different levels here, but like, they're still giving provided benefits. It's just benefits that aren't up to people that think what the Shock standards should be is the issue here. I think that's really the key issue when people talk about like Shock. Like, I do think their performance is probably being affected, but I also think that they're still being provided, like they're still being cared for more than a lot of the Overwatch League teams. A lot of the Overwatch League teams, they're still getting a better level of care than a lot of them. So like, it is something to like keep that in mind. Like, I think that's, to me, where the biggest thing is like the disparity of the opinion is because of its Shock. When like really Shock are just like, okay, maybe we shouldn't, maybe we need to put more of that money towards like other things and like Valorant. Now, granted, they just lose the EG in Valorant, so in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe NRG's money is not going that far in Valorant either. But you know, they're either way, like they're. I do think that's like just people need to realize they're still getting stuff that probably like half your watching teams don't get. You know.
Yeah.
So.
But I still think it's good we talk about it, because we're using Shock's following and attention to really shine a light on like how, you know, tough living conditions and stuff is not great for players. And like if you compare it to Valiant's situation, for example, just as like a two opposite side of the spectrum, it's like, yeah, there's a certain level of expectation on Shock the franchise, but I think it's good we're highlighting it as a way to try to, you know, argue against putting players in like hotels or dorms or whatever it is, and like try to support them in a way. So I don't know. I'm not just talking about it because it's a Shock, but also I'm talking about it because I think that it's a way for us to talk about how bad it is in general for other teams too and stuff like that. So I don't know. Moving on then. Shock, they're playing a different match. They're playing another match in this time. I don't know how hungover I was when I submitted this pred, but hovering around Custa, I might have just gone out and
As
done
you
it.
Fucked
to be
around and
honest.
found out.
I am messing around and finding out.
Okay,
I would say
Shock's
it's close.
performance versus Outlaws was really not that bad. It wasn't good. It wasn't like amazing, but it was really not that bad. They took a map, like they had like some moments here. I don't know. Boston is still a team where for me it's like they are good, but they still haven't looked unbeatable. You know, like in terms of like for Shock, like with their current level. Like I think the safe bet is Boston because they've looked more cohesive, but Shock looked good versus Outlaws. They didn't look atrocious comparatively. You know, they didn't look that bad. He just
Here's
saw
the
this
cope.
Max Schumann shit.
Here's the cope I'll get. I think at some point soon, and maybe it's not even this week, it could be for like the knockouts bracket. I think that when Shock get out of their hole, I think they'll improve quite quickly. Because the last few weeks, they've messed around so much with this tank lineup, and we're like waiting for them to figure out this Max versus Junbin thing. If they just commit to Junbin, I think immediately you're going to see a pretty radical kind of improvement over a short amount of time. And also, if they stop messing around with their compositions and commit to even something like Boston did this past week, where like Boston, for the majority of the time, just played Sombra, Tracer, Winston, and that's kind of like what they settled with doing. I think if Shock does something similar and maybe move away from like the Ramato compositions where you can, move away from like the Lucio Kiriko stuff, and maybe, like, I think at some point, Shock will hit the metaphorical, like, what is it called? The Rainbow Road kind of like ramp where you just like get zoomed, just like you get so much speed. What's it called? What is it? Mario Kart. The Mario Kart Rainbow. Where you're just like...
What,
It's
like
called
the
Rainbow
boost
Road.
packs?
I don't know what you're going for.
The
here.
Mario
like
Kart
the-
Rainbow where you get like tons of speed. What's it called?
Like a speed boost? I don't know.
I
Yeah,
just know
it's
there's
just
a
one of the
speed
boost
pad.
pads,
Just a
right?
The
boost-
speed pad?
Yeah.
I think that Shock soon,
pad.
they will hit the speed pad and just like improve
They'll hit the
quickly over a
nitrous.
short amount of time.
They'll hit the Vin Diesel nitrous and
Yeah,
but then they
Dominic
NOS.
Toretto nitrous.
The NOS, bro. They'll hit the
Yeah.
NOS. But I don't know. I was kind of hungover when I submitted this spread. But I didn't
That's
think
very
that
fair.
Shock... I think at some point soon, Shock will at least become hover to just continue to irritate Custa.
I think that's a great idea. That's a great point, Johnny. And I think that Boston are gonna have their way with your shitty team. I think Proper is not going to be able to do that against Twilight or Lee J Gun. I think Twilight, like one of the reasons they won is because Proper was able to just dismantle the backline single-handedly. And I don't think that's going to work here unless Shock make those dramatic improvements very quickly. I was watching player cams. We have like me and Jack have like a permanent feed of seeing the player cams like off to our side. They don't look like they're having a good time. They look like they have a massive issue within their team of like players being happy and confident playing with each other. Like they're playing mad, and I think that's a terrible way to play.
Right. It's unfortunate you won't be on the pod next week, Custa, when I'm inevitably right and I can't brag to you and tell you all about how good the Switch are and a little beat down.
I'll submit a
Twilight
video to
sleeps
Solomon.
fraud per every day of the week.
Fraud per. Okay. Oh my God. Now you're really getting me excited here. Let's head over to the Eastern region for our two final preds here. We got the Guangzhou Charge taking on the Hangzhou Spark. We've got all the Joes.
Wow, no
It's a
one went for
guarantee.
Hangzhou.
Solomon counted it down. Thank you.
Yeah,
I was
there we go.
blinking. I was blinking.
Scott's a good one, actually.
But I definitely think that Charge Spark, to me, they're still really good. They just have so much to figure out to feel like they're going to be consistently competitive with like Charge and Infernal and stuff right now. You know, like they
so
just
consistent.
they just have so much to figure out. I think overall they just look disjointed still. Like they have the talent, they crazy talent, but they're just disjointed as hell.
Yeah, I think Jimmy is gonna fuck as he always does. He's gonna take a poop on Shy, and then we'll have another conversation. People will tweet at me, and we'll all be excited about it again. So yeah, I agree. I agree with Avast of just like Hangzhou Spark don't look like the super team that we were hoping that they were gonna be, and it kind of like I was hoping that it would all come together whenever they got rid of Changoon, but maybe we need to start looking inwards of like maybe it wasn't Changoon, maybe it was. Maybe it's Gushwei, the way he leads the team. Maybe it's the way Shy plays the game. Like, it's hard to really know. They're going to be a good team, and they're going to be at the top of APAC, but right now they're not showing they'll be competitive with the top end of the league.
It would be really funny if Guangzhou qualified for Mid-Season Madness. I don't know why. It just...
It's the best success they've had ever as a team, right?
Yeah.
No, they won a stage in 2020, but
That's true.
Okay.
that would be a... Yeah, which when
Since
Shu
then,
was on the
since
team.
2020, the last
That was when people said Krong was a better tank than Hanbin. Just want to go back to that.
people did say that.
I am still mad about some journalists voting Krong for MVP in 2020.
Yeah.
Instead of Fleta. That mauls the shit out of me to this day. Never let go of grudges, people. Soul Infernal against the Dallas Fuel to close out our predictions this week. And... Who would have
Man,
thought?
we are
They're
just
so
boring
good,
berries
bro.
right now.
Yeah.
To be fair, none of the matches are like
Interesting.
super well. Like I think the most interesting one is the. I do think Shock Boston there's upset,
Shock
which
Boston
Boston,
is, yeah.
and then
That is
also
the
I
most
do think
interesting game.
Outlaws Mayhem there's a chance. I just don't think that like it just doesn't show. It just realistically, there hasn't been anything from Mayhem showing that like that they're 100% gonna be able to compete with Houston, right? Like there's been a pretty clear stratification, I think, across NA in particular. There's a very clear stratification of the teams of like, so it's pretty easy to make the Preds currently.
Yeah, this is a topic for another time, but I do think there needs to be a couple of changes to the current format because there's just been so much one-sided play, and I do think there are a few changes we could make to improve parity and make sure that teams play more competitive matches against teams.
Yeah,
that
like even pull up
so.
like the list, Solomon. Pull up your like Pred list again, like, and look at the games. Like, it's just like after like week 2, I believe it's just like all green. Essentially, is what I remember. Like with maybe like one or something
that
in there.
week, yeah. Like
except for that APAC week, like all in NA, it's just like all green because of the fact that like the it's just after we got like the early like slotting in like, okay, here's how the teams look like for NA. Okay, now to be fair, okay, here's Shock boomed us a bit. Shock boomed us that in week 3, but realistic still looking across the like the board on NA still. Like, look at like the greens, like the repeated greens. Like week 3 APAC, that was all APAC really, with except for like the Shock Washington match. But like, I still think like overall, like this is like it's just become so much easier to just lock in for NA because we just see how the teams have arranged already, pretty much.
I also think this is the biggest disparity we've seen between, primarily in the West, is like the biggest disparity we've seen between the top end and the bottom end in like years. Like it's pretty ridiculous, like how bad that is. Like Vegas, Valiant, London, New York, and that kind of stuff, they will never stand a chance against like the top 4 or 5 in the West. And that's kind of like that's frustrating when you have regular season matches over and over again where it just feels like you're watching a much better team play a worse team. Like it's just kind of hard to do that. And that's coming from your resident fucking Vegas Eternal casters.
Dude, if we get them fucking... oh my God.
Bring up the Jaws cast face of like his 4th, when he's casting like 4 games of,
oh my God.
Vegas Eternal.
If we cast all of Vegas Eternal next, after mid-season, bro, Matt is going to have some serious fucking words. I'm going to have serious words on Matt, sorry. Jesus Christ. He was trying to play the sympathy card the other day. It's like, yeah, we cast them all last year though, bro. I'm like, yeah, but have you seen them this year compared to last year, bro? Come on now. But granted, they did
please
look
record
okay
that conversation so we
game.
can make content out of it. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, the conversation won't happen because he'll just ignore me. So, there's that.
I want all of Matt's conversations recorded and turned into content, honestly. I feel like
That
there's
would be great,
untold gold in Mr. X's conversations that could be his everyday life that we could use. There it is. There it is. That's a guy that's been casting a lot of Eternal games.
Fourth Vegas game in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's true. I just
Granted,
tweeted it out.
I'm pretty sure that's
it was
accurate.
actually true, yeah.
That's actually, yeah. Granted, though, when me and Scott do get on the broadcast, we do make it a little bit fun. I feel I don't go in and I'm like, fuck, man, it's not like Valiant from like 2021, but they are fun sometimes. Like the Avala game was like, that was good. I enjoyed that one. It was a good time. But there you go.
I'm going to demand moving forward that they only put the good games on the desk. That's my
True.
Yeah.
Oh, guarantee. There you go. I just mimicked. All right, we're gonna start wrapping up the episode here. This week, no members Q&A, unfortunately, because I'm a drunk fool and I guess I forgot, so I apologize. I do want to shout out Minimum. Welcome to member Minimum. Thank you for supporting Plat Chat and subscribing to our channel.
Welcome.
Thank you. Shiro the Shiro, been a member for 20 months. Thank you, Shiro the Shiro, for supporting the show.
Welcome to member.
Appreciate that. And Matthew McCloskey for the $2 to say Junbin is a feeder. Thank you, Matthew. We appreciate your support. So thank you, members. Thank you for your continued support, and I'll get the Q&A up for next week. Thank you as always. Finally, we got Bren's Player of the Week. Bren's Player of the Week to sign us off. Who do we got?
I'm thinking, honestly, Seeker. Give it to Seeker.
Actually, though.
Give it to Seeker. This
Really?
guy,
I'd be down.
I legitimately, he is doing some shit out there that should not be possible, and like his team they can't do anything. Like it's essentially like he's doing some crazy shit. He's looking really good. It's just his team's ass. You know, like they're just not able to follow up. They're also playing against really hard opponents. They're playing against good squads as well. Like they played against like Shock and Defiant, who's obviously who's still decent, even if they've had a rough season so far. So
He's putting up numbers.
He's putting up some real numbers.
He's making the Malian games really interesting because he just like deadlifts every now and then. And by every now and then, I mean all the time. So
yeah, it feels like almost every other fight he gets like a 3K.
Yeah.
And then they lose. Oh, bro.
I'm down for Seeker. Easy.
All right. Yeah. I think it's at least fun that Valiant, even though they went 0-8, they have someone who can just like provide us with entertainment and clutch up.
Yeah.
So thank you, Seeker.
There was a brief moment of time where we created the We Are 0-7 again. Though granted that already happened again in when they were in APAC as well, to be fair. But
yeah. All right, Seeker. Is this week's Bren's Player of the Week, and that does it for this week's episode, guys. Custa, you'll be going on a bit of an extended break. We'll miss you. Thank you for being on.
Peace.
Always good having you here.
When San Francisco Shock, oh god, guarantee.
that's the first marriage guarantee right there. We got that one.
Guarantee.
Marriage
we're locking
guarantee.
it in.
What could go wrong?
Going to the married man meta. Yeah, I'll be going for a few weeks. I don't think I'll be back until mid-season madness actually happens. So hold down the fort. You guys got this. Jack, good luck with solo casting all the Vegas games.
Sky, can't wait, buddy. Thanks for leaving me, pal. Thank you, man. Appreciate
All right.
it.
That is fucked up.
All right. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next week for episode 180, and we'll talk more about the Overwatch League and everything going on in the scene. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.